Last week, the area Lodgebox series headed to the Midwest to compete on the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in Ohio. This week, the series heads just a state or two over to Iowa to compete in round 4 of the 2022 season. Iowa Speedway hosts the next round of the Thursday Night Racing Series, and it all begins now. Hi, everybody. Kyle Heyer, joined by Hunter Sleppy and by Connor Horn. Welcome aboard as we get ready to go racing here from Iowa Speedway.
It's going to be an absolute blast. I love racing this racetrack. It races like a short track and an intermediate at the same time. And one good thing about short tracks and intermediates, you always want to have a sort of worn out racetrack, and Iowa's got that for you. Another thing you want is a little bit of multi-grouped action, which Iowa can provide that as well. I think we're going to see drivers near the dead yellow line. We're going to see drivers trying to run the top, especially through turns 3 and 4. I think we're going to have a pretty solid race on our hands, Tucker.
Indeed, we saw that Monday night with the Cup Series and Tuesday night with the Truck Series. And an interesting note, we had first-time winners for Season 3. Monday night, it was James Kiley getting the job done. And then Tuesday night, it was Matthew Bell. So we could potentially see a new winner tonight in the Lodgebox Series and see a clean sweep of new winners in all 3 area series.
I think that's likely. Let's head down to the racetrack now. Practice is underway. Qualifying is in just a couple of minutes. Iowa Speedway here is in Newton, Iowa. Population 15,000. Of course, this racetrack was constructed in 2005, one of the newer tracks on the schedule. And Connor, it has a very unique personality, even though it shares a lot in common structurally with Richmond Raceway. Turns 1 and 2, there's that big bump over the tunnel. That's always a topic of discussion. But tonight, these Lodgebox Series, Xfinity Series cars, kind of the middle ground between the next-gen car we saw on Monday and the trucks we saw on Tuesday. Is this the Goldilocks car for everyone tonight?
I think we'll have to wait and see. With these Xfinity cars, there's a lot of times when you're going to be either really tight or really loose with them as well here. I think from my experiences in an Xfinity car at Iowa, you're usually pretty tight on a long run, and if you try getting out of a corner with too much throttle, it will slide. So you have to be careful how you manage your tires tonight. Worn out surface here, trying to look at the weather here. 90-degree track temp, a little bit humid, a lot of wind. We'll see how that affects the drivers, if at all. That track temp, the more cars we see on the racetrack running around, the higher that's going to get. It's going to probably get, something in the wall there. Couldn't see that was. On the side. That's not how you drive the high line. That's a Larson line gone wrong. But one thing I love about the track is that bump in 1 and 2. It has a similar character to Vegas, where you have to work your way around that bump, whether you go to a very bottom line or go a groove or 2 higher. I think that's just a great characteristic to have, and it's not really something that obviously the track wanted to have or meant to have, but it's played out well as far as the racing's gone as the surface ages.
When you look at John Furness over the car, 21st quickest currently in practice, but he put on one whale of a show last week at Mid-Ohio, and I expect him to do the same tonight, although James Kiley did get the job done there. I don't know if he can do it again tonight, although he is at the top of the practice boards. But the only other track that we've been to that kind of races like a short track, just a little over my length, was Rockingham, and we had 4 different leaders that race, lead changes, and 9 yellows for 35 laps. But all those, I shouldn't say all, most of those yellows came out towards the end of the race. And we got 160 laps slaved here tonight. I feel like it's going to be mostly green flag racing in the first half, but then once we get to that second half, as soon as we get 1 yellow, they're just going to start going over and over and over again, pal.
Yeah, there's Alan Elwood, your points leader coming into the night. 3 races and 3 top 5s this season so far. 2nd, 1st, and 4th at Daytona, Rockingham, and Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. He has been the one to beat so far, even though Shane Therian and Scioli have each racked up a victory. Cameron Hearn, though, is a driver to watch. 3rd, 2nd, and 7th coming into the night here, Connor. 2nd in the points without having won a race yet.
He was really solid at Rockingham as well, and sort of similar tracks. Obviously, I think Rockingham's might even have a similar amount of speed, but they are going to race completely different, actually, as far as the line you're going to want to take from Iowa to Rockingham. But that 67, Cameron Hearn, always fast, always a threat at almost any track he goes to. And this is, in my opinion, one of his best tracks, a track like Iowa. It's only 6th in practice, I believe. Hunter was saying earlier how Hearn was saying he did not have a chance, but still a very solid time up on the board, and he's tried to get some long runs in, but hasn't really gotten anything going. But I still think he's going to be a threat tonight.
And if you do feel like Cameron Hearn is a threat tonight, over in the Twitch chat, the poll question just dropped. Will we see a new winner tonight? And the list the previous winners, Deason, Therian, Elwood, and Scarlett. If you think that we will get a new winner, such as Cameron Hearn, bet with exclamation point bet, and then the word yes, which is as little as 10 channel points or up to 10,000 channel points. Or it could be Colin Fambro, also really solid at Rockingham. 10th quickest on the board, Kyle.
Yeah, Colin Fambro's had a pretty solid season so far. He's 5th in the standings, a 6th, and then 18th at Mid-Ohio. So I think he's happy to have the road course behind him. But good news is there's only one to deal with this season. Colin now can focus back forward and try to match his top 10s that he had at the first 2 rounds of the season. Again, practice times have not been incredibly indicative of race times. What we did see on Monday and Tuesday, though, a handful of caution flags. Connor, this race is unpredictable, and I think one of the things you'll have to worry about as a driver is knowing when that long run will happen so you can pit right before it. The tire wear is pretty significant. You're going to want tires, but you don't want to waste them so early in the race. The pit strategy is going to be such a big topic of discussion for the entire race tonight.
And it's almost like the way Rockingham played out. We know the tire wear is pretty high, and we know track position's pretty key. And you know you want to get those tires on, and it's also got the capability to either have yellow after yellow after yellow or have a really long run. We've seen both at Iowa before in multiple series that we've covered. So 160 lap race, you got to be ready to. It's almost like gambling. You got to gamble on when your tires are you're gonna perfectly time putting your tires on. If you put them on early and the yellows keep coming and other people keep putting tires on, you're probably not going to be in a good spot. But if you pit on a yellow and it goes green for the rest of the race, and you gain all this time on the rest of the field, you're going to be looking pretty smart instead of looking pretty dumb. So you really got to be able to time your pit stops properly. It's going to be a key part to this race, just like it was a key part to Rockingham.
Well, one thing we're going to have to look out for tonight you mentioned it on pit road, guys having to get their tires on, but Monday night we saw some drivers overslide their pit box and they drove into another stop for another pit box, and that can cost valuable time on track position, not only just for the green flag, you get in green flag stops, but under yellow as well. Very costs are being wasted if you slide just a little bit over your pit box. We saw that happen with Travis Speckner here Monday night, and even Jake Nichols a little bit.
Yeah, that's such a crucial part of any race with strategy. You've got the pit stops under green, the pit stops under caution. Either way, you have to nail your pit box entry, and it will lose you a lot of time. So you'll have to make sure that you're on top of that all through the evening, through yellow flag stops and green flag stops. You lose a lot of track position under yellow. You lose a lot of time on the racetrack that under green. So that's something to. Qualifying kicking off here in just a moment. Fans, be sure to subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel. For only $5 a month, you can watch all Area broadcasts commercial-free. You can also use new Area iRacing emotes in the chat. You can earn double channel points as a subscriber that you can use to redeem for free merchandise. Area iRacing's Twitch, twitch.tv/. Qualifying underway here, Connor. This is a crucial moment in a 40-car field to get yourself set up for a clean race. Start up front, stay up front. That's the motto.
Yeah, we pretty much say it every other week, but that's because it's important every other week. You need to be at the front of these things usually to get the job done. We've seen it before, even on short tracks. I think I remember Elliott Sadler started like back behind 40th at Bristol, and he won the race. So it's not impossible, but it's really tough to get through the field on 160 laps without either a lot of yellows or a lot of wrecks that you avoid. So got to get that top 10, top 15 starting position as we're getting ready to see who can put down the fastest lap. A few drivers on track right now, but right now, trying to see that it is a 44 machine of Pierce Maffitt. He's going to go to the inside line. We might see different lines here in qualifying as well. Might see drivers dive to the yellow line. That would be my preference, but might see drivers try that middle line, which is usually preferred on the long run.
Well, some drivers Monday night we saw run the outside line, kind of like Daytona and Talladega. They ran the outside line in their first lap. Then the second lap, they just migrate towards the bottom, and exactly what we're seeing from Cameron Hearn right here. I don't know if he'll get off the wall for the second lap, but we can only assume as he comes off of 4 and down the line. Currently 5th quickest for Cameron Hearn.
Drops to 7th as other drivers put in their times. Bottom in 1 and 2, high side in 3 and 4. That's the lines that we've been seeing so far this week. But different machines tonight than we saw on Monday and Tuesday, so different lines here. This time bottom in 3 and 4 for Cameron Hearn. And as he comes up off the corner, this should put him a little bit better at 23.979. That's going to be good enough for, looks like, 5th place. Jump back up above 47 and 15. Other notables on track right now, Colin Fambro, but he had one lap and he bailed on it, so he will have to come back and try again Only has one shot to get a lap this time, Connor.
Yeah, I think that's going to be, I don't know if he meant to do that. Maybe he was trying to get the tires in a better spot, but he's going to get some momentum off of turn number 4. See if that is part of the plan, or if this is going to be just a part of his struggle getting into turn number 1 here. Different higher line, but that's really not the preferred line. You can see that car really jolting left and right over the bumps on the 18 machine. You can see it on the in-car camera there. He's going to try diving to the inside, but can't really get to that yellow line. Also sliding the rear is trying to turn it in there so hard. So see what this is out of a corner. Coming to the line here, 147 at the line, 23.942. So I didn't think it was that good of a lap, but extremely solid. Put some P3 on the board so far.
And we saw Monday night how tight the Cup cars were. It just seems like now these Xfinity cars are much looser. And you mentioned it, the rear wheels. I'm starting to see more spin coming off corner exit here. It's the 7 of Skyly comes down to complete his lap. Second quickest on the board. But yeah, turn 2 and turn 4, once again, it's going to be a crucial part because some drivers got too close to the wall just in the practice sessions that we've had. And we'll see what the 49 of Valnell can do on lap number 2.
Yeah, first lap really slow, but he purposely compromised it. Let's see how he will do on the second time around. Slow first laps usually translate to fast second laps. A 23.951 will put him in 5th spot, so up into the 3rd row. So I was expecting him to jump up maybe a little bit higher with a strategy that aggressive. A handful of drivers still left to go, but I don't think a lot of notables other than Irvin, Beckner, and maybe Bryce Senesac. But for the most part, I think we've had our drivers that are historically fast jump up to the top. Justin Munsell already qualified, but continuing to run practice laps, using every moment on track as practice, Connor. I don't hate that strategy at all. Anytime you got a moment to use it, you might as well use that track time.
Yeah, take all the time you need to. Try different lines, see what's working, see how the tires are reacting to different lines and stuff like that. Smart by the 20 machine, in my opinion. One thing I was surprised about Scioli, that was probably one of the only people at the top of the sheets that only did 1 lap. One of them. We've seen a lot of people conserve the tires lap 1, get him heated up, and then go all out on lap 2. He decided to only go 1 lap, and he was still pretty fast, but I wonder if he might have left anything on the board. And you were talking about people who are historically fast, and Brian Chambliss is one person who I think is a pretty decent driver, but there's not a lot of times where we see him at the top of the pylon for qualifying. A 23.912, and he did that on his first lap as well, so maybe you don't need to conserve for the second lap. That's a flying lap, 200ths faster than Scioli's second place time.
Yeah, Chambliss currently atop the board, but right below Scioli in 3rd is teammate Rob Ackley from Keeping It Real Esports. So those guys off to a solid start in qualifying, currently 1st and 3rd quickest on the board. And here's the 09 of Bryce Senesac coming off of the corner, looking like he's going to complete his warm-up lap and start lap 1.
And going back to Brian Chambliss at the top of the board, I think it was in the Cup Series race back at Chicagoland. I think ran 2nd or 3rd at that race. This season in the Lodgebox Series, it has been a little bit hit or miss. He had a 21st at Daytona, then a 15th at Mid-Ohio, but a 9th at Rockingham. But Brian starting off really strong tonight on pole. We know he's fast. He could be a factor in this race as Senesac comes across the line at a 24-1. Travis Beckner sitting on pit lane has not begun rolling just yet. Christopher Tate goes 32nd quick. Here comes Senesac now through 3 and 4, Connor, to complete his 2nd full lap.
Surprised with him doing 2 laps. He didn't try getting a run off of the high line in 3 and 4. Still looks like a pretty tidy set of corners. He's going to go faster. He does 24.080, improves, but only 4 positions up to the 17th position. So expected a little bit more out of that 09. He's got some work to do to get to the front from 17th, borderline top 20. There's a few more drivers on track. Trying to see. Christopher Tate just finished his run. Travis Beckner still sitting out there. Other than that, not really many other people left to go. John Furness is the only one I see on track, and he's already put his time down. He's 5th right now with a 23.945.
Yeah, John Furness, really solid run last week at Mid-Ohio. Looking to continue that run again here at Iowa. Mentioned 5th quickest on the board, and then looking down that 7th, that is, I believe that's the 37. No, that's the 99 of Tommy Ryan over there in the 7th spot. Another solid job by his part in unacceptable racing. Hopefully we can see the rest of the team do well. Dwight Beverly really well the last time they raced over in Mid-Ohio, but only 3 minutes left, and I don't know. Well, there's the 27, Travis Beckner. I was going to say, I don't know if anyone else put down a lap time yet, but now the 27 is going to go out and see what he can do.
Yeah, Paul Irvin doing the same thing as well. He just started rolling. Touching back on Furness for a moment. Not incredibly high in the standings. He runs 6th at the moment, but that's only because of his 34th at Daytona. 3rd at Rockingham, 2nd at Mid-Ohio. Furness is certainly one to watch. He will roll off in 5th tonight, assuming that Beckner, Irvin, and LePage don't go faster. Beckner kicks out the rear tires at the exit of Turn 2 and rockets off into Turn 3 on his first flying lap here, Connor, but running the high line. I think he's going to bank on that second lap being the fast one.
Little lower, a little bit off the wall, making sure he doesn't risk getting a phantom incident point there to discredit his second lap there. As he's going to try to go maybe over the bumps. Looks like he's going through them, but it worked for a few of the drivers up the front like Scioli, so we'll see how this works out. It's going to go to the yellow line into Turn 3, dives all the way down there, gets the left sides on the yellow paint there, out of the corner, use all of the room, or maybe a lap so good he doesn't need to use up all that room towards the wall at 24.082. Once again,
slower. Well, no, it was a little quicker, but he only jumped up one spot. That will put him in 19th place. Not a great effort there by Travis Beckner. By the way, Paul Irvin went 15th quick on his first lap, Hunter, and after that he bailed out. There's a couple more drivers left. Matthew Cochran is the next one, Hunter.
Yep, Matthew Cochran in the number 4, the pink Bass Pro Shops number 4. That's a real nice paint scheme. And my favorite paint scheme, we haven't seen it yet, but it is from the Coe boys over there. I believe it's Jim Coe or James Coe.
Not seen the 24 on the racetrack yet.
Yes, that is the one. He posted it on social media. It is a Philadelphia Phillies paint scheme, and as a Phillies fan, I am so pumped after what's happened the last week and a half with their postseason run, and they made it to the World Series. And paint scheme, the Fanatics on the quarter panel of the car, and Bryce Harper is towards the front of the car. That's automatically my pick to win tonight solely because of that paint scheme.
It's my pick to finish last because of that paint scheme.
There you go.
There he is. There he is. Look at that. Oh, then the gas cans blocking the Fanatics. You can see it on the other side.
That is so baseball. Best way I can describe that. Bright colors and big dominant shapes. But bad news is he's going to get one lap, if that, across the line. Kick things off. He's going to have to make this one count off into Turn 1. Dives on in. Watch the tires right here. Bam. Slams over the bump. Accelerates up onto the back straightaway. He's going to get to the stripe just as the session is finishing, and he will be our last qualifier. We have 36, 37, 38 cars in the session. 35 have taken times. Forrest Smith, LePage, and Seth Noel will not qualify. Here comes Coe across the line, 24.227. That will only put him 29th place.
And Matthew Cochran, who went out, the second to last driver to go out, he didn't go particularly faster either. In fact, he went slower. He's only 31st and looked like he was really struggling. So two drivers starting at the back, trying to find their footing on this 3/4 mile track.
And it should make for an interesting start. We did see on the restart Monday night that the inside line, whichever line the leader was in, went automatically, and that other lane just did not go. So we'll see that on the initial start here after we get our starting lineup presented by Roasted Gems Coffee.
And just a couple minutes until we head down to the green flag here, and just a couple minutes till we get the field gridded. Our starting grid sponsor, though, to kick off your morning like we kick off the race, Roasted Gems Coffee. Fans, be sure to visit Roasted Gems Coffee for some of the finest coffee from all over the world. Use discount code AREA iRacing for 10% off your order at roastedgems.com. Tonight's race is 160 laps start to finish. Connor, that will take us a little over an hour. But again, as we've seen, the yellow flags will slow that pace down. And as we see the last couple of nights, long yellow flags here. They add another lap or two to these cautions at this particular track for who knows why. But that changes the strategy a little bit, especially towards the end. Some drivers felt that in the last 20, 30 laps, if you get a caution, take right sides only. Just get that track position play because there will likely be more cautions, and you're better off staying up front and hoping for quick yellows that will end a race pretty fast.
That's one thing we were surprised we didn't see at Rockingham, people taking right side tires after the long run ended because of that yellow off the turn number 2. Some people tried taking it, like Seth Noel, but he got a speeding penalty, so it negated that. So definitely something we might see. Depends on how the cars are reacting. I know from my experiences on rights only, the car gets sideways. So if you don't get yellow after yellow, you're probably going to be in for a rough ride. But we'll just have to wait and see while we get there. We'll have to see if we even get any sort of long run, because who knows how these races can go. I think we're either going to get yellow after yellow, not many green flag runs, or we're going to get one big green flag run to the end after maybe 1 or 2 yellows. It could go either way, Hunter.
Yeah, towards the second half of Monday night's race, it was kind of yellow after yellow. And, and another add-on with Roasted Gems Coffee, Jonathan Cogswell, I think he had 4 or 5 wrecks where he avoided, and one of them was better than the. So I don't know if we'll see that tonight from some of the drivers in the field. I think like I said, we're going to see it start out pretty calm. Well, calm as in not wrecking, but towards the second half of the race, it's going to be caution after caution after caution.
All right, time for the Roasted Gems Coffee starting grid. Kicking things off on row number 1, Connor, we've got Brian Chambliss in the 25 and James Scioli in the number 7.
And then on the row number 2, I don't think we talked about Rob Ackley at all. 7th in practice, 3rd in qualifying. Really good start for him. Colin Fambro is on his right side on row number 2.
Row 3 is John Furness in the number 28, runner-up last week at Mid-Ohio. Alan Elwood starts 6th in the 49.
Row number 4, Tommy Ryan and Shane Therian, near identical laps, 7th and 8th on the grid.
Starting in row 5, it's David Weishart in the number 33. Ed Robertson will start alongside him in the number 64 and 10th.
Right outside the top 10, my pick for the night, Cameron Hearn in 67. Alongside him, Tom Bourne in the 16.
Starting in 13th, it's Mike Tellier in the number 47. Michael Leip rolls off 14th in the number 26.
Maybe the most popular row here, 15th and 16th place. Swerving Paul Irvin in the 48 machine, can't miss it, and Ricky Hard on his outside in the 15.
And row number 9, it's going to be Greg Mitchell in the number 2. Bryce Senesac at the green and black car rolls off in 18th place.
Row number 10, Travis Beckner, pretty disappointing qualifying effort. We'll see if he can get through the rest of the field. And another driver who was good last week at Mid-Ohio, Garrett Grant.
Justin Munsell starts 21st to the number 20. He'd like to forget Mid-Ohio and move forward this week. Andrew Santos starts 22nd in the number 13.
Pierce Moffitt, I think, might want to forget that race. He starts 23rd. And AJ Roderick, I don't even know if he was there, so he might not have to forget it if he wasn't there. They start 23rd, 24th.
25th place is Chris Rabel in the 29. Ryan Swan starts 26th in his number 54.
27th and 28th place, Justin Lemke and Logan Hartman. Hartman struggled last week at Iowa as well. Let's see if he can find his footing here at Iowa.
29th place is James Coey in the number 24 car. Jeff Ryan rolls off 30th in the number 37.
Matthew Cochran in the 4 machine. Don't know if that's I assume it's a breast cancer awareness scheme. It looks very sharp on that 4 machine. Alongside him is the 41, another sharp paint scheme, Jeremy Rigney.
33rd place is Steve Durham in the number 1. Jacob Hudson starts 34th in the number 96.
The last row of people who put down a time, Stephen Kinnard, 35th place, and Christopher Tate with 25.302, 36th place.
37th is Seth Noel in the number 93. Forrest Smith starts 38th at the number 84.
Then rounding out the field of 39 cars that would start this race is Russell LePage. Noel not on the grid, so it looks like we'll have 38 drivers taking the green flag tonight.
All right, time to go racing from Iowa Speedway. This is the 4th round of the 2022 Area Lodgebox Series that you're watching here on SimTV. Kyle Heyer, Hunter Sleppy, and Connor Horn joining you for 160 laps. And green flag flies. We're racing in Iowa. The 25 gets a nice strong run. Scioli, though, hangs tough on the outside as they barrel turns towards turn 1. Good, strong starts here. Still side by side. Chambliss drives up off the corner and tries to clear Scioli. He couldn't do it. Now he does as Scioli had the lift. He tried to throttle up there, Connor. It didn't quite work, but everyone scrambles on the front straightaway. It's busy down there into turn 1.
I think that was Coey on the apron. Don't know what was happening there, but had drivers on the apron on the front straightaway. One driver on the apron. I don't know if that's someone coming out of the pits. No, it's Christopher Tate who started from the pits, but that was hectic. Almost saw a wreck at the very front of the field. Lap 1, Chambliss wanted to get him clear. I don't think he wanted to do that, but he had no control of the car at that point.
Now he's got the lead holding on tight, and the battle for 4th going on with Fambro on the outside and Furness on the inside, and that's going to subside. Fambro clears Furness, and Ryan on board with the Simrat market number 49 of Alan Elwood.
Elwood throttles up, leaves the door open. Look at Furness using the outside lane. It's such a strong lane on the outside of 3 and 4 to keep your car tacked up and in the power band here. Go back a little bit deeper in the field. Battle for 15th. Beckner on the outside of the 47 of Mike Tellier. And Ricky Hardin, the 15, is in the mix, as well as Sorvin Irvin. Good battles mid-pack here. We saw this Monday and Tuesday, Connor. This track is incredibly racy for 20 to 40 laps after a restart.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see a lot of people really try to gravitate towards that middle lane, because that middle lane's great for passing. You get on someone's right rear quarter panel, and you can just control them. You can pinch them down, and you pretty much are going to have that pass done soon enough. And it's also great for defending. It's going to be very difficult to make a pass on the inside here. Even if you have maybe even a bigger tire advantage, you're really going to struggle to keep the power down and keep your car out of the car on the outside's left side door. So it's going to be a big struggle. That's why track position is so important at a track like Iowa.
We're seeing that now out of the windshield of Elwood, as Fambro's still trying to get around the 28 of Furness, who's using the outside lane to his advantage. And Elwood's just kind of a passenger, just watching for a spectator, just waiting to see what happens next.
Yeah, a lot of ebb and flow when you're using these multiple lanes. Look at Tommy Ryan way up the racetrack behind, battling David Weishart. But the side-by-side is relatively easy right now, but as that higher lane gets more and more preferred, I think it's going to be hard to stick on the bottom as Fambro bounces over the bumps, almost into the side of the 28, but they continue lap after lap to be door-to-door, Connor.
Yet another reason it's going to be hard for that bottom car to really prevail. Those bumps in 1 and 2 come up in a hurry at a 3/4 mile track, so you cannot hit them wrong if you're getting pinched down. You hit those bumps, you just shoot up the racetrack, and if you're getting pinched, it's going to be really big trouble in the next corner, as we see Fambro get chopped by Rob Ackley, still holding on to the third position, sort of blocking both lanes. He gets to the top down the straightaway, and he's able to defend the 18 on the bottom in the corners as those two side by side, Furness and Fambro.
They're still going at, but you can see that Fambro's got company all over his bumper. Elwood's just getting closer and closer. Now he's going to make a move to the inside of Fambro, this time for the 5th position. That's at stake as the 99 of Tommy Ryan enters the picture.
To shallow up his entry, Elwood did, which gained him some ground here in 1 and 2, but 3 and 4, again, I like the high side. We'll see if Fambro can hold off this spot, but he's struggling right now. Tommy Ryan goes to his outside, Connor, as it come out of turn 4. That's going to get very tight.
You got to be careful doing that. I think it is a good line for passing way up there, but you got to make sure you're going to have room to do it. That could have been a big crash. Fambro just barely was able to clear him. I don't even think that he thought that the 99 was going to have a chance at being there, but that outside line, if you can get some clean air up there, it's going to be a vital way to pass as the long run goes on. Ryan's going to try it again. Maybe try throttle up a little bit more. Fambro's just going to have a little bit better run to the center to make sure there's no issue off the corner this time. But look at that run the 99 gets. We're going to see, if he can gain some positions early on trying that line, I think we're going to see more people take a crack at it later in this race.
Also joining in is Cameron Hearn in the 67. So he's managed to get away from Shane Therian in the 38 car and he's migrated towards this group of cars here. Is now Furness looking underneath Ackley for the 3rd position. And all over the bumper of James Scully, who's currently after Brian Chambliss early.
Scully tries to turn down to the bottom, but Furness gets a little bit of overlap. That will help Brian Chambliss out, but this battle for second is hot right now. Side by side for 3 rows behind Scioli, and this is just good stuff. This is good, clean, fair racing up here towards the front. The back has begun to settle out just a little bit. Some action deeper by James Coey, but up front they're still door-to-door, Connor, and they will be for a little longer.
Oh, no doubt they're going to take a while until the tires were to sort this one out. Now Scioli, he kind of got forced to that middle lane, but it's kind of helped him find something. He's going to swerve, top to bottom elevator move on Brian Chambliss. Chambliss is going to go to the way high line. Scioli's going to have cleaner on the bottom. Chambliss is going to get a really good run off the top of turns 3 and 4, though, and Scioli couldn't do anything down there. I don't think he was expecting to not be able to get to the rear bumper of Chambliss, and John Furness is going to jump to the middle to try to take that 2nd position. Now he's going to go for the race lead himself.
Not yet. Chambliss shuts the door, but Scioli gets in line for 3rd. And now Elwood and Ackley looking to go at it for the 4th spot. Ooh, that's going to get tight. Whoa, the 7 comes across the door of Ackley, and now Ackley's going to have to go down and fight for 3rd.
Rear end was wiggling on that 14 out of turn 4. He was pushing the rear grip We saw Chambliss again take the high line, so he's discovered some speed up there that is working regardless of whether he's side by side with somebody else. He is just running this high groove here, Connor, and it's working for him right now as everyone scrambles for scraps behind him.
This is great for the short run, good short run speed, but we've yet to see if this can be sustainable on a longer run. I think we can probably see how it's going to act on a longer run if he keeps running it in about 20, 30 laps. If he starts dropping back, you'll know that that high line's probably not what you want to do on the longer run, as he's going to drop back down to the bottom immediately as Furness tries to run the top himself, as they both switch lanes each and every lap at this point.
Look at the 99 of Ryan just get that run off the corner, going to give the momentum to the 18 of Farnborough, going to try and propel him past the 14 of Ackley. This is the side battle for 4th and 6th on the racetrack. The outside lane still getting the runs off the corner, and look out for this 99 of Ryan. He's going to be passing Ackley here in just a minute because he's got the 99 dialed in on the upper groove.
He's going places right now, kind of following and mirroring what Chambliss is doing at the front of the field. So really like the 99 finding speed. I don't think that upper groove works quite as well in 1 and 2. That's why you see him kind of cheat down towards that first lane. And this is what we saw on Monday and Tuesday, Connor, as the 49 takes a big move out of turn 2 to drop to the inside of the 99. Not sure if he was loose or just wanted to run down there, but he took it either way.
Really, the only reason it doesn't work in 1 and 2 is because it's so bumpy at the very top of 1 and 2. Those bumps absolutely kill any run you might have. So those bumps weren't there, it would work well, but 3 and 4 is still a great place to get the run. It's usually the type of line you use to set up a pass for 1 and 2. You get the big run off of 3 and 4, swoop to the bottom on the front straightaway, get to the bottom in 1 and 2, and maybe pull a slide job into turn 3 the next lap. So that's usually how I try to pass here. It's a lap or 1+ lap sort of process to get passes going, but if you could just run the top like the 99 or 25 are, you really don't have to set up any passes, you just do them.
And setting up the pass is the 38 of Shane Carrion. He's got Ackley who's continuing to fall through the field now. Oh, he nearly got on the wall there, but he took the spot away, and Ackley now drops to the 10th position. A little further behind them, Travis Beckner up to 11th after the initial start. Michael Life and Ed Robertson door to door right behind him for the 12th spot.
Yeah, this is a good climb forward for Beckner. Definitely didn't quite nail the strategy in qualifying, which I've never paid so much attention to qualifying in an oval series before, but this season has really made me appreciate all the minute tactics that people are using. There was less than 700s between the top 10 starters here in qualifying. Every little trick and every little hack that you figured out, that matters here. And we've seen that all season long, people getting so creative. And it looks like Beckner didn't quite nail that strategy tonight, but he is fast on the racetrack.
Yeah, he's one of the bigger movers so far in this race. He's up 8 spots, 19th to 11th, and another big mover, even a bigger mover, Chris Rabel, 25th to 15th. So he's on the move as well, as he's right now trying to defend Bryce Senesac for the 15th position, as they're both coming up on the 26th of Michael Lipe. Contrary, Lipe's actually trying to get a pass of his own going on Greg Mitchell for the 13th position, as those two go side by side. From the top of the order to the very middle of the order, we have a lot of action at this track at Iowa. David Weissart, Cameron Hearn are side by side themselves for the 6th position.
There's Pierce Moffitt running in the 26th spot. Muscle getting a little run off the corner. He's now battling with Moffitt for the 26th position, and right behind him Forrest Smith in the 84. But up front, it's bumper to bumper now for a lead, as Furness has been closing the gap between him and Chambliss. Broken off a little bit, but that 28 car is starting to get dialed in to potentially set up a pass on Chambliss.
Yeah, only a couple tenths of a second. It's 3/10 between Chambliss and Furness as they stand. In terms of the manufacturers, so far the first Toyota running 8th with Elwood, Shane Therian right behind him. But those are the first of the Toyotas. The only blue oval inside the top 10 is John Furness. He is repping that brand here tonight so far. All the rest are bow ties.
Look at the leaders. Look at the lines they're running. It's all becoming sort of games at the front. Chambliss is really just trying to keep. He likes the outside, obviously, but he's really just trying to steal Furness's line because he knows John Furness wants to run up there higher than him. But just keeping the dirty air on that 28 machine, keeping him at bay for as long as he can. I think the 25 is going to start to struggle with the tires a little bit if he loses his lead. It might not be pretty for him. He's doing a good job right now. Furness all over the bumper now. He's going to try a little bit of a dive and enter high, exit low. Look at the run he's going to get. It's going to get to the left rear of Chambliss, maybe. Not quite. They're going to be bumper to bumper still, as these two have really extended their lead over James Scioli, who's got a little bit of a gap up to Colin Vanbro in 4th at this point.
Here's teammates Alan Elwood and Shane Therian running towards the back half of this top 10. Running in the 9th spot is that purple Simrat market number 38 of Shane Therian, won at Daytona. Alan Elwood also has a win earlier on the season.
This lead battle is getting really interesting. Chambliss and Furness kind of pushing each other, and guys like James Scioli are saying, yeah, go ahead and start battling. You're just going to bring yourself right back to me. And Connor, how much tire are they using right now to fight this fight? Is it worth fighting at lap 28 of 160?
I don't think it is. With the way it's going, I don't think it is, because this is looking to be a pretty green race. Anything can happen in a blink of an eye, but these guys are, if nothing else happens, they're going to have to pretty much go a full fuel run on these tires. You don't really want to go too long on tires. We don't even know how long the fuel can last, but if you start wearing out and we go on a longer fuel run and you have to run that thing dry, guys like Chambliss and Furness, they might really struggle, while James Scioli, who's been running that bottom consistently, is probably going to be the one to prevail. That was tight. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we almost just had our first yellow of the night.
Getting really spicy back here with Munsell and Garris Maffitt. Justin Lemke's back there as well, but it is definitely getting spicy back here for the mid-20 spots. And Connor, as we start to get some tire deg, that's going to start to factor into this as well. How will the chassis balance change? Will it get loose? Will it get tight? That's going to change. You see one car bobble. That was the 84 of Forrest Smith.
Justin Lemke's going to let him go. He doesn't want to be the meat in the sandwich. Oh, he's going to get into the back of, who's that on the bottom? Steve Durham. They're bouncing off each other, and that's going to be a little bit of a sideways. I don't know how
they saved it.
I don't know how Forrest Smith saved that, but as far as the tire deck goes, we're going to see these, probably the right fronts are going to struggle the most, going to get really tight, but you cannot mash the throttle on exit either. You got to be careful. If you mash the throttle on exit, you are going to go spinning, so you have to conserve both of those right sides. That's why we talk about right sides being taken maybe on a late race restart, because those left sides aren't really at risk like the right front and right rear are.
Boy, they're almost 3 wide back here for 33rd. That's Jeff Ryan in the 37, trying to get that KISS 37 moving.
Back up, just up the road. Maffitt going back at it with Durham here for 26th spot. This is kind of the danger zone for me when guys are fighting this hard for mid-20s and mid-30s spots. You know, they're fighting their cars for whatever reason, and then you get locked in these fierce battles. And while they're not leading the way, Connor, they're fighting just as hard for these spots as Chambliss and Furness have fought for the top spot.
Pierce Maffitt, he's one of the guys I've seen struggling the most. He's sideways off of almost every corner, struggling to keep the car under him. You can see that with the right front sort of dinged in, even the right rear has some damage. So he's been in the wall, minimal damage, but you can see he's just struggling to keep the car under him and lacking a little bit of control. There's a few other drivers at the rear of the field with damage. Russell LePage has been in the wall. He just hit it again. Jeremy Brickney with damage, and Jeff Ryan has a little bit of front end damage, and Logan Hartman's probably got the worst of all.
There you just threw it into turn 3 and cleared the slide job on Elwood. Elwood crosses him back over. That was a huge dive by the 38, and it almost worked. He almost kept the spot.
That's what we call impatience. I think Therian's been behind him for a while, and he just finally decided, screw it, I'm going for it. That's not going to be the last time we see that move made tonight. He might even try it again here. No, he's going to stay right behind him. It's actually going to go to the outside. Elwood goes low, but won't be the last time we see that. The slide job can be used into turn 3.
He tried to do that on the boss man himself, Alan Elwood. That's his boss. And if Cameron Hearn wasn't there, he would have been in the wall. That's why that didn't work. He had to back off. Otherwise, he was going to hit the 67 of Hearn. He's done a solid job so far, running in the 6th spot. But back up front, it's still Chambliss leading this in hot pursuit. They call him Furnace for a reason. He's hot.
And riding way up on the high side. I haven't seen cars that high all week here at Iowa Speedway, but they're finding speed right up against the fence in 3 and 4 and kind of mid to bottom here in 1 and 2. And Scioli kind of wrapping the yellow line there on the bottom of the racetrack. Connor, that bump down there in 1 and 2 is pretty upsetting, but you kind of have to drive through it to be fast. It doesn't feel like the high side, despite it being maybe smoother, is really any faster.
Yeah, there are times when you can go through that bump in 1 and 2. It might help you shoot down the racetrack. Really, it's a matter of how you hit it. You have to be very precise, and Scioli's trying to make it work right now. Meanwhile, Furness trying to get to the right rear of Chambliss. We talked about this being the way to make the pass. He's there now, and he's got overlap on the 25 now. This should be the pass for the lead right here. Furness can just hold it on the outside. Chambliss wanted to enter high. He didn't really want to give the 28 much room there. They're going to stay side by side. Chambliss has to give the room. Furness is just barely not going to lead this lap, but he's got a good shot at leading the next one. As 28 surges ahead into turn number 1.
He's about to clear Chambliss for the top spot. We're right on board the 25, who falls down to second, and that's going to allow the 7 Scioli to close in. And Al Furnace can set his own pace.
How close is this field? Well, we're 40 laps in, and no one has been lapped just because of speed yet. Only one car is a lap down. It's Christopher Tate, who started on the pit lane. Everyone else is still on the lead lap and still fighting here at lap number 40. This race is flying by. Remember earlier, kind of in the pre-race, I talked about how I was expecting this to kind of be the Goldilocks car of the week, and it has proven to be that. Great racing here and fair, clean action at the moment as we watch Scioli now take on a slightly bleeding Chambliss after that scrap with John Furnace.
I think we're going to see Chambliss fall a little bit here. I don't think he's going to fall too far down the order until we need to pit, but one battle I'm looking at is not this battle for second, although Scioli is near the bumper now. They're stacked up for 4th. Colin Fambro's been stacking them up for the last 40 laps here in the 4th position, planting it to the high line, and also Tommy Ryan's been on the high line as well, so guys like Cameron Hearn and Alan Elwood, they can't find a way by. That's how strong that high line can be. Even if it wears out your tires, it's still very difficult to make a pass on the bottom if they're running up there.
Yeah, sometimes you have to know when to hold them and know when to fold them, and eventually this will have to fold as Hearn is looking, nope, going to tuck back in line. Now I'm going to try and go low on the 99 of Ryan for the top spot. Here comes Scioli, now looking to take second away from Brian Chambliss on the bottom.
Be a tough sell for me to make that pass on the bottom in 3 and 4. 1 and 2 maybe a little bit more likely. He gets to the quarter panel with Chambliss. But again, even when you're under fire, that upper groove, I don't think it's great for overall speed, but it's great to defend. And Chambliss will hang on to it for now. I do think he's fighting a losing battle here. Look, he slides up the racetrack, doesn't have the lateral grip. Scioli throttles back up here. If he can just commit to that a little earlier, he'll have this pass completed in a couple of laps. Or maybe right now.
He's going to really dive it into turn number 1 here, get to the yellow line. Chambliss is going to just pretty much ride the dotted line on the outside middle lane as they're going to be pretty much dead even. Could be where Scioli could try to throw it in, but he didn't get a good run off of turn 2. He's going to send it to the inside, no slide job here, but he's got better traction through the center, but Chambliss has just got a better run off of the corner on the top lane, so Scioli's going to have to work it for a few more laps if he wants to make this work.
The more they battle, the more Fambro and his train can catch these front two, but battle for the second spot as Chambliss still fighting on that outside. Scioli's still trying to give it his all down on the bottom. And like I said, they keep doing this. Fambro's going to add 2 more cars to his collection.
If Scioli can throttle up, he couldn't do it in time. He's going to try, though, and yes, he does. He gets the pass done on the bottom in 3 and 4. I think Chambliss might have helped facilitate that, but that 25 car is weakening. But I do like that short run pace, and I don't think we're going to go green this entire night, so the question now becomes when will the strategy start to get broken up by yellow flags? Once there's one, there's many. Look at Cameron Hearn and Elwood kind of bobbling and weaving down the backstretch here. The 49 got a lot of wheeling it in turn 3 to try to get the car to rotate.
Yeah, Hearn has been in front of the 49. Now Elwood's got that higher line to really fight him here, so it's going to be tough for the 67 to defend. Harder to defend on the bottom, no doubt. We'll see if he can make it work. He's just going to dive it in there, trying to get the 49 cleared again, but not going to make it work. And Shane Darian in that 38 machine is going to be next in line to try to put the 67 machine back to potentially the 8th position. We talked about bigger movers earlier. We're trying to look at one unfortunate bigger loser, Rob Ackley. I talked about him at the beginning of the race. They had a really strong qualifying effort. 3rd, he's one driver who has not kept the tires on his machine. He's all the way back to 13th under fire from Ed Robertson for that position.
Yeah, he's one of those comers and goers. In this case, it's a goer after such a strong qualifying effort from the Ackley machine. Drops outside the top 10. Now battling to stay in the 13th spot, down to 14th. Here is the 33 of Weishart down pit road, and boy, the pit road's going to be a challenge. I thought he was sideways there coming in. That's just how pit road is.
Yeah,
so it's going to be a challenge getting off those tight banks and down to pit speed going down pit road.
I would expect this to be a scheduled stop. This is a little earlier than I was expecting them, Connor, but he's probably just going to split this race into roughly 3 equal chunks of 50 to 60 laps and stops it in the box, and he's the first one to bite. I'm a little surprised to see it quite this early, but this will probably start a trend.
If he was seeing what was happening like 3rd on back, I don't think he would have picked, because look at these guys getting 2-lap traffic. James Cooey's a part of this.
Whoa.
Logan Hartman's a part of this. They're 3 wide, bouncing off one
Oh,
another.
boy.
This is looking very rough, and there's only more lap traffic ahead. They're almost 4 wide. Hartman's in the wall. They're almost 4 wide getting around these guys.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I expected from a Phillies paint scheme. Oh, Therian almost chopped the nose of Hearn there. As had another guy pit there, trying to see who that was. That was Justin Lemke, who's already 37th with damage.
Yeah, why pit now?
Oh,
I guess is the question, Hunter, right? Because you've got all this chaos going on. I would wait for a yellow. I mean, wait. If you're not in absolute need of fuel, the 10 cars in the wall, I would not pit right now. This feels like a very volatile moment to put your race up for grabs here.
If you're a lead lap car seeing this happen in front of you, yeah, I wouldn't pit. But if you're through this and you have to think you're over 50 laps in on the rundown, how much longer can you go? They're really slicing and dicing it over there.
They've done a great job, though. I mean, that was pretty wild, and we kept it pretty clean and green. More drivers maybe deciding to come to pit lane in a few laps, but maybe just letting this settle back out. Furness leads by 0.4 of a second. Scioli second, then Chambliss, Fambro, Elwood the rest of the top 5. And Coe, Weishart, Tate, Lemke, the drivers, actually Tate, excuse me, has not come to pit lane. Lemke, Weishart, Coe, the only drivers. No, Coe hasn't either, I'm sorry. Just Weishart and just Lemke. I thought we'd see more takers, Connor.
This is, I don't think you can make it to lap 80. Lap 80, you'd split it in half, but I don't think the fuel will be able to last there. This is around when you'd want to pit around lap 54 to lap 58 range. This would set you up to put it in 3 even segments. So obviously, the way we were saying it, you wouldn't really want to pit if you saw all that 3-4 wide action in front of you. So I think after seeing that, these guys are going to be like, all right, let's wait it out. Let's just make sure nothing crazy is going to happen. In case if these guys wait a little bit too long to pit, that 33 is going to be in a good spot. But we've seen this before. We saw him pit early at Rockingham, and a yellow bit him, made him take the wave around. It really ruined his chance at a win there. He was really
look out.
Oh, look.
Oh,
That's
wow.
Jeff Ryan up the track. I don't know how they kept it off the wall there, but it's definitely not done yet. If they were seeing this, John Furness would be running the tank dry.
Just like the car, they kiss just a little bit.
That made me nervous.
But the 14 continue to drop towards the back. We got some more people coming down pit road.
Yeah, looks like Andrew Santo is one of them. Jacob Hudson is another. No front runners, though. Ryan Swan electing to hit pit lane to see that in the backdrop as well. Here's Beckner with a big lunge on Therian into turn 3 and trying to get to Cameron Hearn as well.
Who's going to slide him a little bit. Therian's going to try to get back there.
Oh!
Contact! 27. Great save. He wanted to take the position. Therian wasn't allowing him to take it like that. Contact was made, but Beckner somehow was able to keep it straight and get the spot. He's up 11 positions now.
Said it last week, say it again. There are mailmen and there are wheelmen. And the 27 of Beckner.
We're going to hear that a lot this year.
Both wheelmen.
That was pretty frightening as the battle for the lead is heating up here. Scioli has run down Furness. Good long run pace on the 7.
Yeah, I was suspecting that this would happen. Running that bottom line while the 28 was fighting Chambliss with that top line. So I'm not surprised to see Scioli charge here, but you can see as the run gets a little bit later, he's now finally starting to utilize that higher line. As one driver hitting pit lane, that was Russell Page, who just got left from 29th. As battle for third also heating up. Chambliss has finally been reeled in by Colin Fambro, and Alan Elwood's gotten to the 5th position. Tommy Ryan was finally passed. As that battle heats up, the battle for the lead is bumper to bumper.
Fambro's finally added one to his collection, and Scioli looking to add another win to his collection of Season 3. He won Monday night, and he's looking to add another one here tonight as he's trying to get a run off the corner. He's going to look down below the 28 of Furness, heading into turn 1. Scioli on the bottom, Furness on the outside. The run going to prevail for the 28 as you see coming out of turn 2, but 3 and 4 might be the spot for James Scioli in the 7.
They have to do it on the bottom of the racetrack there. Furness is committed to the high side. Furness throttles up. Scioli keeps a pretty decent run, but that's just a hard battle to win as we watch Elwood fight the same fight here with Fambro, and then the 54 of Swan, who's already made a pit stop on fresh tires driving back through the field as Paul Irvin hits pit lane to the backdrop, and Scioli back at Furness again, Connor.
Just wonder who's going to blink first. Whoever pits first is going to get the track position in this fight. But clearly no one's starting to budge yet. Scioli just cannot get the power down through 3 and 4 to make anything work. almost looked like he let Furnace by. Maybe he is willing to come down pit road this time and get the overlap, get the undercut on the 7 machine. But if you saw what was happening behind Brian Chambliss, I still don't think you would want to do that because they are packed up with some drivers on new tires, some drivers on old tires. Oh, jeez.
Oh, you're starting to get spicy over here.
That's one way to put it. Oh, they're 4 wide.
Oh, that's gonna be tight. Santo, whoa. Santo driving through the battle for third here.
In his own battle to get the lucky dog before any yellow comes out. You don't want to be the one to cause it, though.
That would invalidate all that work. Look at the slide from the 49. The 99 almost touching the fence. The 67 and 99 battling for spots. Beckner here pushing them along. It is just hectic out there, and I'm just so impressed with the driving we've seen. It has been sketchy at times and dangerous at worst, but we have not seen any crashes yet this race. Knock on wood.
I am running this tank completely dry. I'm going to be on fumes coming down to pit road. I'm a driver seeing this, but both these two drivers at the front still not blinking. They're still bumper to bumper. Skyoli's trying to sort of only go a line lower. Instead of going to the yellow line, he's just trying to run just on the furnace to get a little bit of clean air on the nose. And meanwhile, while they battle, they've got Xanto and Lipe on fresh tires about to disrupt this battle. So they're side by side for the lead now, so these drivers kind of got to pick a better time to get by them.
Gosh, there's so much tie racing all around here, and here come the lap cars of Santo and Lipe catching the leaders of Furnace and Scioli, and boy, there's chaos going on all over the place. There we go, 3 wide, Elwood, Fambro, and that's Shambles.
Wow, Beckner and
they are loose, and they are they're going to be itching for those 4 fresh sets of tires down in the pits here shortly.
It is just crazy. Beckner and Hearn had a little bit of a touch on the front straight. And Fambro and Elwood continue their door-to-door battle. Look at Tommy Ryan getting fired by here by Hearn. This is just getting sketchier and sketchier the longer we go on.
Oh, here comes Logan Hartman. He's going to disrupt another battle as well here as there were 3 cars under a blanket for the 6th position. Ed Robertson's about to come down to pit road. Trying to see where he's running. He's running a little bit near the front. He's actually 11th right now. So still waiting for more drivers to come down to pit road. I think they're taking all of our advice. Run that tank dry. It looks like that's pretty much on everyone's mind. David Weishart, who's the earliest to pit, he's in that lucky dog position right now. He's in 26th.
Yeah, I don't know if his strategy is going to work out at this rate because with all the great racing we're seeing, we're not seeing any yellows coming out. It's just so fun to watch here at Iowa, and the lap car is making everything a little more tense than it. Oh, they're touching off the 2.
Boy.
I don't know who that was. It was the 37 of Ryan. But he was all up on someone's grill, and he almost got into someone's grill again. That was almost his brother. Almost that brother-on-brother crime.
Longer we go, more dangerous it gets. But here's the thing that I do think. If we can get through this first green flag pit stop sequence, things will calm down from there because everyone's in a rhythm. You don't have these packs of massively different groups here. I think it's going to be a little easier once we complete this first cycle through. Right now, it looks pretty chaotic, but once everyone's come to pit lane, we're almost halfway in this race. I think as long as we keep it green, we'll be all right. You get a caution flag now, it's going to turn into chaos.
And I think contrary to Hunter's point, I think if this cycles out, this is better for David Weishart than anyone else because if we cycle out, he's going to have a pretty big lead and he's going to be on the better strategy. Unless they can make it the lap 80 on one stop, it'd just be a long stretch. But with how the tires are wearing, the times are dropping off. I'm trying to see the fall off actually, 24.4 to 25.6. So it's actually only about a second lap, but still don't know if the fuel can hold up that long. But I think Weishart's still in a pretty decent spot here. But that's if this cycles out. We still have a long way to go before it does cycle out.
Beckner trying to cycle to 18. Oh, and the 37 looking like he's going to cycle 18 back. Beckner's going to take the spot away. Fambro almost hitting the wall there, coming out of 4th. Man, these lap cars are really starting to spice things up in the top 10 and throughout the rest of the field.
Elwood working over Chambliss here for 3rd. Up front, Furnace and Scioli have just been in lockstep here and in the middle of traffic as well. I think they're catching some more traffic that has not yet pitted. Furnace drops to the inside, Scioli follows. And now, Connor, at lap 75, we're in the range now that I think with a caution or 2, you could easily save the fuel necessary to go to the end from here. So, I think they're in a, well, maybe not from here, but I think you could make it 70, well, you could probably make it 75 to 80 laps at this point from what we're seeing with a little bit of fuel saving.
Looking more and more likely, but still worried about a yellow coming out. Brian Chambliss, it was Fambro holding people up. He's now back to the 7th position, and now it's been Chambliss sort of being in a little bit in the way there. He's held on to 3rd position very nicely, but that's let the top 2 get away to a 2.5-second lead over this battle for 3rd, which I don't know, it's about to take. He's only up 2 positions, but it's about to get that big 3rd place podium spot. Just get the run off of turn 4, but Chambliss is strong on that top line, even 75 laps in. They're 3 wide behind him as well for at 6th place in the middle there, in between a bunch of lap traffic.
Yeah, we just looked at it. It was Chris Rabel in the 29. He slowly worked his way up and inside the top 10. Good to see him having a solid run as Chambliss and Elwood battling for the 3rd spot, and right behind those 2, Cameron Hearn is looking to join in, but here comes Elwood with a run on the bottom.
I like this run. Followed Chambliss through 3 and 4. Carries some momentum and got on throttle a little sooner. He should be able to complete this pass this time through. And he will. Chambliss is going to cross him over here, though. Maybe give him a little touch at the exit at 2. Oh. He has to lift, and Cameron Hearn's now going to try to take advantage of that in 3.
Yeah, that really hurt Chambliss.
He got on the wall.
I think he tapped it a little bit. I don't see much damage, but just lifting there hurt all the momentum he had there. Another front runner. It's one of the first front runners I've seen in a while. Shane Therian's going to pit from a 9th position as Chambliss loses that spot to Cameron Hearn without really much of a fight. Puts him back to that 5th position, but he's fighting back on the outside still.
He almost got on the wall again. Hearn looking to take that spot away. Got another car down there looking to almost make a free line. I think that is the 6 of Stephen Kinnard on fresher tires. And it is him on the bottom. But now we're starting to see some comers and goers, even almost 80 laps in on this run, Kyle.
Yeah, we're 2 laps away from halfway, which means that I feel pretty confident you can make it from here. So now the question no longer is, can you make it? It's what strategy will prevail. Is it the 2-stopper or the 1-stopper? Scioli turns down hard onto pit lane, and a little bit of discontinuity there, but is on pit road at lap number 79. You just have to hope that the internet isn't going to take him out of this one, and for now it looks okay. Furness, for the first time in a long time, has some clear racetrack ahead and behind.
See if he takes advantage of it, though. Tom Bourne pit the lap before Scioli, and Furness finally down to the bottom lane. Should expect him to pit here if he's down there. Yes, he will from the race lead. See if anyone else follows as we get closer to the halfway point. They're 3 wide for 4th place. They're bouncing off one another. It's Pierce Moffitt, the lap traffic on the top. They're able to make it work, and Chambliss finally drops another spot to Beckner there.
And for the lead now as they cycle through, Elwood and Cameron Hearn have yet to pit. They're battling for the top spot.
Hearn to the inside. Always got to wonder if they're going to pit from there. As he is going to pit, he's going to hit the brakes hard. Trying to see another driver pitting there. That's Colin Fambro. Look out. That's what can happen when you got people pitting with you. That was incredibly close.
Wow. I don't know if Hearn was planning to do that, or if he just did that because the car in front of him decided to go down pit road. He's like, all right, well, I'm going this slow anyway. Might as well come down. But that was close with him there and Fambro as well.
Elwood leads. Beckner is going to peel off. He's going to bring Chambliss with him. Pierce Moffitt behind. Bobbles on down to pit road speed. A slow 45 at this racetrack.
Justin Munsell comes down as well from 9th. Behind him, Mike Tellier, who's worked his way through the field as well. And this is likely for these guys, no doubt, if it goes green, the final stop of the day. Alan Elwood continues to ride here, though. 82 laps in. He's one of the only ones left.
Well, he's still holding his own, so now we know that if you pit now, you can go at least 80 laps on a fuel run. That's without saving, I believe, as the 49 continue to log laps here. Ryan, Hardin, Mitchell, and Durham are the only ones who have yet to pit, I believe, and it should cycle out for Weishart to be lead, but I don't know how much longer that's going to last with the pressure tires that these guys have on.
Yeah, Weishart pit a long time ago now. He pit 34 laps ago, and he should take over the lead. He'll have about a 9-second advantage over James Scioli when things cycle around. But at the moment, Scioli is lapping a full second faster, so that would be under 10 laps. That Weishart would lose that lead, and it all comes down to the strategy from there. So Connor, still lots of chess pieces to move here and lots of things to fall into place as Elwood hits pit lane from the lead.
hands over to lead Tommy Ryan. He goes an extra lap. Ricky Harden as well, alongside with him. Steve Durham, I don't believe he's pit yet, so see where Edwood cycles out. A little longer than everyone else, wants to pressure tires to the end, which can't blame him for wanting that. Always want to have some sort of advantage if it's not going to really hurt you too much as Ryan stays out another
big crash out for Ed Robertson out of turn 2. He smacked that wall hard and completely drove in the right side of that car, but managed to keep the car straight while doing all that.
Said big crash. I was expecting a flip, but he just really just a pretty harsh hit to the wall.
He crashed.
he crashed, but he kept going.
He did keep going.
We've seen that before. We got a lot of drivers with big right side damage, and he's just another one added to the list here. As still waiting on Tommy Ryan to come down. He finally comes down. 85 full laps on that set of tires. Ricky Harden's going to be the next one in line to be the next one to take that pit stop. Right now, looking at the gap, David Weishart, who pit maybe, I'd say, it has
like
to be about 30 laps.
Yeah, 37.
30 laps before Scioli or something like that. And he has got about maybe 8 seconds on Scioli right now. And looking off what he's trying to do, he's probably not going to be too far away from pitting, maybe the next 15 laps or so at least.
We'll have to see if this works out for him or if a caution comes out and flips this whole race upside down.
About a 5.5 second differential now from Scioli to Weishart, and 1.2 back to Furness. So that's the difference between those two. Scioli pitting a couple laps sooner than the 28. Furness at the moment kind of matching Scioli's pace, not really running any faster, not really any slower. As the puzzle pieces are beginning to fall into place here to see where everyone will cycle out. And like I mentioned, I figured that this would kind of calm things down after we cycle through entirely. It appears to have done that. There are little micro battles around the racetrack, but none of those big 4-6 car battles that are conducive to accidents.
Yeah, it's definitely spread out a lot of a field. Still one more driver to pit is Steve Durham, who's second on track, but obviously struggling in the 26 flats. Ricky Harden came down to pit road, gave the lead to Weishart. Looking at the times last time by, Weishart about 0.6 slower than James Scioli. John Furness, compared to Scioli, was 0.2 faster than Scioli, so those two start to converge on one another, and it's really just a race to see who can pass the 33 first between those two.
Well, got a battle here. Fambro on the outside, Beckner on the inside. They just went around the lap car of Jacob Hudson. Beckner trying to clear coming out of the corner, but Fambro's got the run to stay in it, although the lap car, Beckner could use that to his advantage. That's the 10 of Logan Hartman. And he's in the wall, trying to get out of the way. And that's going to help Beckner, but not quite. Fambro's still in it off of 4.
A good battle here that they continue to fight. It has been an incredible race so far here tonight at the Area iRacing Series, the Lodgebox Series here on Thursday nights. Fans, be sure to check out simwrapmarket.com for custom iRacing paint scheme templates that are simple to use and help you stay more focused on the racetrack. And be sure to check out rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. Be sure to follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series and see who will take home the $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie in the point standings. Back down here on the racetrack, working lap 92 of 160, under 70 laps to go. That'll take us under a half hour of racing. We have been clean and green. Here's a quick look at the race recap so far. No cautions, 6 leaders, 5 lead changes. The stats so far, Connor.
James Scioli, John Furness have definitely, literally and figuratively separated themselves from the rest of the contenders. 2.4 seconds back to Cameron Ahern, who got held up for a while, but he is settled down into what will become 3rd position because David Weishart's tried something here, but it's just not going to work. He's already only got about a 2.5 second gap to Scioli, and he still definitely has to pit one more time. At this point, he's either going to run this tank to the very end and hope for a yellow, or just take his medicine and just commit to the 2-stop strategy.
Oh, spin out of turn 2, the 6 car. Steven Kinnard.
Track though, don't know if that's going to be enough to bring out a caution. If he spins it back around to the left, it might.
Oh, not going to. It's going to stay green for sure here. Trying to see how that happened.
Well done. Keep the race
self-spin.
Yeah, great job to keep the race green in tricky conditions. Got to go back on the SimRap Market replay. He hit that wall really hard. Let's have a look at it here again, Connor, and see if you can tell me what kind of led to this here.
Probably just old tires here. Yeah, he's just gonna try to power down, and too much power, and he's gonna spin down, and yeah, oh, hard hit. Very fortunate that he didn't go into traffic and collect more cars, but David Weishart's probably yelling, no, get back on the track. But you can see here the rear end's already coming out, and there's not much you can do at that point, especially when the banking kind of slopes you down. You're kind of along for the ride at that point. Incredibly hard hit there as he immediately came down to pit road. And speaking of pit road, David Weishart's gonna, like I was saying, take his medicine and take it down to pit road.
Do you think he pits after this, or does he just run it to the end?
This is to the end. This is definitely his second and only stop. 3 stop is suicide. 2 stop is even looking tough right now as everyone else is going to the end.
His plan here is in terms of the race leaders here, the last time they pit was 20 laps ago. So his strategy is to basically make up an entire lap on these drivers in the next 62 laps or something like that. I guess I could see a world in which that happens with more tire wear, but we just haven't seen such huge fall off, Connor. So I like the strategy. I just don't know that this track is the right place for that strategy tonight.
The only track in existence I've ever seen that work at is Atlanta, old Atlanta, very worn out, 4+ second fall off. And as we're saying, before everyone else pit, the fall off was only around a second, and that was in 80 laps that the fall off was really only a second. He's only got 20 lap pressure tires, really, than James Scioli, who's the race leader over Furness. So if I was him, I don't know what I would have done if I was him at that point, because obviously he must have figured that the 2 stop was not going to work with the pace not being there. So at that point, maybe it would have just hoped for that yellow and stayed out as long as he could. And now you put yourself in his position. He is now a lap down, and he's going to have to pass Forrest Smith and Andrew Zanta, who are multiple seconds up the road to even have a shot at the lucky dog.
And that car we just saw there, the 16 of Tom Bourne. Haven't talked about him all. Having a solid run over there in the 9th spot. Almost got close there with him.
Oh, he's going to get hit.
Oh, that's going to be tight. 3 wide down the straightaway. Trading paint for the 9th spot. Chris Rabel looking to move up inside the top 10. That was a little chaotic there coming out turn 4, but nonetheless, we are officially 100 laps through with 0 caution.
That was a little aggressive there by Rabel, throttling up off the corner, enduring Tom Bourne. And again, we haven't mentioned the Flat Out Racing Network Supra yet tonight, but Tom lost that spot with a little bit of elbow to elbow. Up a little bit deeper in the field, Greg Mitchell and Michael Leip battling for 16th spot. About 1.3 seconds behind Paul Irvin for 15th place. Up front, the lead is getting closer. Don Furness is reeling in James Scioli, and this all comes down to their pit strategy. Scioli 24 laps ago, Furness 23 laps ago. 1 lap pressure tires doesn't seem like a lot, but it's enough to make a slight difference here.
Can't tell if this is another week or is it deja vu. Didn't we just see this last week with these two? But it was reversed. It was Furness on the defensive there with maybe a little bit of an earlier pit stop. Now it's Furness who's got everything in the world to fight with, and Scioli, not too much older tires than John Furness, but he's still going to be the one on the defense if this can go all the way to the end for another 55+ laps.
Furness and even Cameron Hearn possibly has a shot at catching the leader of Scioli.
Oh boy.
Look a little further back, there is the 38 of Therian with Fambro right behind, but on that bottom going by both those drivers, the 33 of David Weishart, and now Elwood looking to join the mix between Fambro and Therian, but Weishart remain on the mission right now.
So Weishart, his other mission is he's got to continue. He's going to catch Forrest Smith here really quickly if he's right up the road. He's got to keep up with the leaders and continue to close that gap, just because the leaders are going to still keep putting people a lap down. He's got to make sure that he is the first driver a lap down, just in case you get a yellow, because you don't want to put yourself in a wave around position. If we get a caution, everyone's going to hit pit lane. It's not going to save you. So Weishart really has to get up on the wheel. Now he is in the free pass position now, but Scioli does he have cars on the chopping block here? He might. A few more up the road, I see.
Like Tellier would be next in line, and he's about maybe 3 seconds up the road, so that 33 is going to have to hurry up. And also he's going to have to, he's probably not going to want to see what's happening in the mid-pack. Battle for 26, was trying to look at it, was looking at it earlier. It was getting very hectic. Jeremy Rickney's got it now, but this field they were spread out. Everyone's starting to kind of converge on one another again, getting really tight out of turn 4, especially Stephen Kinnard almost got into the side of trying to see who that was. That was Jeff Ryan. They almost collided hard there out of turn 4.
Have a look
Take
at
a look at it on the SimRap Market replay. There is Ryan on the outside, and oh my goodness, whoa!
Oh my God, he almost got a 2-for-1 deal, and he got none of them.
How are we almost getting yellows with this? Like, this is the third time I've seen something that should have been a yellow.
We're going to get one at some point. It's just a matter of when.
This is not going green.
Might be up here with the 84 of Forrest Smith in the middle of this battle with Fambro, Therian, and Elwood. And now he's going to back off and believe that was going down pit road.
Car on pit lane right now. There's Justin Lemke, field off. And Jacob Hudson's on pit lane. This is a good battle right here for 5th spot. Therian, Fambro, and Elwood all scrapping for positions.
Elwood's still trying to maintain what he's got. He's left his precious top lane now. He's the one sort of struggling to get anything going on the bottom. Shane Therian up into that 5th position. It's 6 seconds behind race leader Scioli, as all of these guys are battling hard for the positions that they're going for right now. As the lead battle still getting closer, but not bumper to bumper yet. Furness still trying to make up that ground in time, and not too far behind him, only maybe 2 seconds or so, is David Weishart trying to get back on the lead lap.
Just remember last week the battle was between Scioli and Furness on a road course, and they take their talents to the corn state of Iowa here at Iowa Speedway, and they are still door-to-door, bumper to bumper for the lead. Not door-to-door yet. Door-to-door here is the 99 of Ryan and the 16 of Bourne, swapping the 10th position. So Tommy Ryan moves up, Tom Bourne moves down the order. And a little further up the road now, coming off turn 4 and blinking now. I believe that is, well, it's a lap car.
54, that's Ryan Swan.
Ryan Swan. Blinking in the middle of this battle with Elwood and Therian teammates from Sky Motorsports, and lurking in the background is Colin Fambro, although he just lost those positions. But the teammates going at it, the boss
goodness,
versus the driver.
trouble, turn 2, it's the 6 around Stephen Kinnard again. The yellow's gonna come out. Oh, Greg Mitchell's got nowhere to go, and he piles in. And the yellow finally comes out.
First caution, lap 113. Last place, Stephen Kinnard. 7 laps down. And luck finally runs out.
And I saw that coming. I was trying. Oh, got something happening again almost there, but
Man,
saw that coming. They were packing up there, and everyone, someone, I don't even know who that is in about 96 maybe.
Garrett Grant in the 5 gets into the 44 and kind of creates that stack up. And it was all just kind of chain reaction from there. Maybe if we slow this down a little bit, we'll get a bit better look at it. They come off into turn 1 here, and watch the 5 and 44. They're going to head off into turn 1. Garrett Grant gets into the 44, and then watch Maffitt. He's going to slow up here, and they're going to go 4 wide. The 6 is going to see that, and he's going to turn down the racetrack and get into the 14, which turns the 6 around. And then, as you mentioned, Connor, the 2 car has nowhere to go as the 6 spins wildly, and Mitchell tries to spin the car to miss him, but can't do it, and they bang doors.
Yeah, the 2 just had nowhere to go. If he went high, he probably would have gotten pile driven by whoever that blue car was. Just trying to see who that was. Russell LePage it was. That would have pile driven him if he went to the outside. Unfortunate for him. Sort of unfortunate for David Weishart, but he is getting a lucky dog, so no wave around for him. He'd be able to take his tires. Meanwhile, I think something that everyone wanted to see is another chance at pit stops and another chance to stack up the field. That's what everyone wants on a short track, right? To stack up the field again with 50 laps to go.
Absolutely. I think this is now where this race was. It wasn't calm, but in terms of the yellow flags, we just had clean, fair, good long racing. And now throw that all out the window because it's going to be bumpers banging and people pushing and shoving. This is the opening of the floodgates, I think, Hunter, in terms of getting the elbows out tonight.
Indeed, and this is where we could see potential for saying cautions breed cautions. We could either go back and have green flag racing to the finish.
Ooh, that was tight.
And speaking of finish, wow. I think
Furness got him.
Scioli. Nope, Furness did get him. Furness edging out the 7 of Scioli on the exit of pit road, but like I mentioned, we could see this race go green flag to another caution fest. There it is in super slow-mo, and I believe it's that second line with the green cone in it.
Right there is the difference off the pit lane.
Oh.
That is incredible.
And that could be the race for the win. We'll have to see how this plays out, but that is a huge race all pit road, the win for John Furness.
That will be a big factor, I think, especially when you've got control of the restarts. That was a big deal on Tuesday night to have control of the restarts, especially in the late going here. It has been an exciting one so far tonight here at Iowa Speedway. You're watching Sim TV. I'm Kyle Heyer, joined by Connor Horn and Hunter Sleppy for round 4 of the Area Lodgebox Series here at Iowa Speedway. It has been an absolute blast tonight. Call this one. As we get a little bit deeper in the race, we'd like to take this moment. Fans, be sure to check out areaiRacing.shop for merchandise to represent your favorite driver. Shop from our selection of t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, stickers, and more. Working 45 laps to go, and Connor, it has been very, very fun to watch. We are under 20 minutes of racing when we go back green. If we stay green to the end, that is not a lot of time to get the job done.
I'd be shocked to see this go green. You know what they say, cautions breed cautions, and we saw this at Rockingham, long green flag run. Really a small incident ending it all, and we saw how Rockingham turned out. Didn't get much green flag run to the end. We're going to have about maybe 43, 42 laps to the end from here. It should be 42. Wave rounds don't go around this time, so it's going to be interesting. This could be a huge battle on this restart. We saw how fast Scioli was on the long run, but that's not where we're going to get to the end. We're only have 40 laps at the most, so he's really going to have to find a short run pace, which is what John Furness had. And if you remember, that's what Brian Chambliss had, but he's all the way back into the 8th position after green flag pit stop cycle did not go well for him.
And we saw it in the practice session too. Some drivers were actually somehow climbing the wall, and that's kind of similar to what we saw at Rockingham. Drivers would hit the wall, climb in, and start flipping. So I don't know if we're going to see that at Iowa, but I will expect the aggression to rise throughout, maybe not the front of the field, but kind of towards that back part, like running around where the end of the top 10 is and in the middle of the pack there. We're going to see the aggression start to rise in these drivers, and it could lead to multiple yellows, and that's something that I don't think the 28 of Furness wants to see. I think he wants to see this go green to the finish. I think him and Scioli would like to see that. I would like to see that battle between these two, from the green flag on the restart to the checkered flag at the very end.
All right, so 1 to green here. The lights are off atop the safety car. Pace car. I got my road racing hat on from yesterday.
Same thing.
Have a look at the race recap here. 43 laps to go. Had 1 caution so far. 7 leaders, 7 lead changes, and I don't think any of those figures are done racking up yet. Double filing here. Furness elects for the inside lane. And just a quick update on running order. There is 1 car out of the race. It's Stephen Kinnard in the number 6. Everybody else, the other 37 cars, remain on the racetrack, and there are 26 on the lead lap as it stands, and about 5 that are on just 1 lap down. The others are 2 or more. Time to go back to the restart now. Working lap 119, 42 laps to go here from Iowa Speedway, the Area Lodgebox Series. Green flag back in the air. Furness fires off and clears Scioli.
Clearing guy on the wall.
Oh, trouble!
Trouble!
Back straightaway, the 10 car spins, the 84 as well. Everybody scatters. We get through it.
Surprisingly, it didn't look like too many big hits there. I think that was Logan Hartman who was first into the outside wall. I think Paul Irvin and him got together. Forrest Smith spun just to miss it. Ryan Swan barely got through it. Forrest Smith, no damage. Somehow that wasn't bigger than it was. Look at all these guys scattering. 84 just had to spin to avoid it, and Hartman gets the worst of that, I'm afraid.
Their contact.
Taking a look right here. Oh, the 10. No, he just lost on his own, and around he goes down the backstretch, and Forrest Smith, kind of similar to what we saw with Greg Mitchell, trying to slow the car down, just spins it.
Who was that car that weaved through all that at
Ryan
the end?
Swan, or at the end, I don't know who it was, but Ryan Swan was one who just barely avoided it there. As we see the 10 just kind of losing it off of exit. Poor Paul Irvin just had nowhere to go. Weishart, he got the lucky dog. He barely misses it. There goes Ryan Swan. It was Forrest Smith saying hello to everyone.
That was the 1 car that snuck through there. Steve Durham, right on board with him. I'm sure he had quite the perspective as everybody scattered by here. The restart. Here's a look.
It's pretty far behind this. You see it finally, the 10 goes into the wall there. Everyone's trying to check up. Sees the 84 spinning. He panics. Sees smoke. Find the clean track, and he just did a really solid job just being nice and smooth and keeping us cool. Here's from Irvin here. And you see the 10, he wasn't really out of control. He just drifted too far up the track. That was Jeff Ryan he bounced off of, and 448, just nothing you can do there.
And an EOL has been given to the number 10 for causing the yellow. And now we've racked up our second caution of the night, and this is where I start to, again, had this been, let's say this, if we go another 15 or 20 laps and then have another caution, I am coming to pit lane. I'm taking 2 tires or no tires, because my goal here is to get track position, because this is, if we start to see more yellows, these eat up so many laps here that you only need 3 or 4 more of these yellows spread out by 5 or 10 laps and the race is over.
Yeah, it might already be too late to even think about pinning again. I mean, we'll have to wait and see, but if we keep getting similar runs like that, 10 laps max, 5 to 10 lap runs, you might already be done pitting. It's not like you're not going to be very keen to pit if it's not a long run. With 27 drivers now on the lead lap, that's so much track position. If you're one of the loners pitting with only 30 laps to the end, you're going to lose so much track position, and unless you get a long run and everyone has to pit, you're not going to gain that track position back with a legit shot to win the race. So I think for sure from front runners, we're done seeing 4 tire stops for the most part. 2 tires, not out of a question, but it's going to be a tough decision if you want to pit and risk all that track position loss late in the run.
Well, this is going to set up for another interesting restart, and we saw their Furnace went and had a massive jump, but then it got closed right back up. So I don't know if we'll see the gap be closed again, but I do expect to see the inside line just get at least for the leader Furnace to get a massive jump on the restart.
Yeah, like having control of the restarts here is so critical, and this all ladders back to the way they exited pit lane, Connor. That was a very critical moment for Furnace to get this lead, especially if we have more of these yellows, because if they're only 5, 10, 15 laps apart, John's restarts, if he does them right, he will not have any pressure from Scioli for at least 3 or 4 laps after a restart, and that is a lot of insurance towards the end of a short track race.
And if he plays his cards right and times these restarts well, they could get side-by-side for a second. I don't know who it's going to be side-by-side with Scioli for second. They're going to have to pick and choose. Sort of how we saw 3rd and 4th place swap at the end of Rockingham per restart. We might see that with Beckner and Hearn. What a charge for Beckner, though. We talked about it. He didn't nail it in qualifying, but he's had the race pace. It's clear to see. 19th to 3rd. By far one of the bigger movers here. 16 positions. I think he definitely is the biggest mover. Solid race, and now he's in 3rd place. If he could just nail 1 restart, maybe get clear for 2nd, he's got a really good shot at dethroning either Furnace or Scioli from battling it out 2 weeks in a row.
If you think about it, it's kind of similar to last week what we saw on the road course. See with Scioli, Furnace, Beckner, Elwood's up there. Cameron Hearn finished 7th at Mid-Ohio, but most of the front runners from last week we're starting to see once again be front runners this week.
Yep, the cream will rise to the top, and every week, no matter where you go, it just seems like you might get a player that you wouldn't get elsewhere, but most of the time, the championship winners always ended up being in the front when they needed to be at the time that they needed to be, and Beckner is in that spot right now. So is Scioli and Furnace. Green flag, lap 125 of 160, and look at the run that the 18 gets on the inside.
Bad restart for Scioli. That's not what he needed. This is what we're talking about. Beckner could get 2nd position. He's clear of Scioli for sure. Aggressive move by Fernando to go 3 wide. They're still 3 wide. Scioli into the wall a little bit.
Someone was in the wall back there, but they're keeping everything straight for the time being. We'll see if that continues coming off of 4. Massive 3-wide battle here. Fambro and Elwood nearly getting into it. Another car in the wall.
Trouble the 4.
There it is.
Straight. Oh, we got multiple cars spinning on the front stretch. That's going to bring out another caution.
Wow. Well, all right. Let's break it all down again. 3rd caution of the night. And again, this is like you just open the lid on Pandora's box when that first yellow comes out. And it started. Ooh, the 4. What happened to the 4?
Looks like he just lost it.
Contact there from Santo.
Was it Santo? It looked like he might have. See, Santo's there on the bottom, 4 on the top lane. Here comes Santo.
Oh, Santo. Oh, big old net code right there.
Yeah, iRacing can bite you sometimes. That was one of those times. The 4 or James Cooey just barely missed it.
Yep.
He got clipped a little bit, but he should be fine. There was another spin behind him, like a half spin, that was completely unrelated.
Yeah, the 35, Justin Lemke, that that was, as you mentioned, Connor, its own incident, but it wasn't a trigger for the yellow. Here's the look from what that looked like. And then into the side of the 96.
That was just on his own. Had
Oh,
no
Hudson
contact
got
with anyone. I know. No, he did. Yeah, Hudson came down, and Hudson had to save it in his zone there, and just a little slide there for a Lemke down the front stretch. But the 6 of Santo blinking in, and then as soon as he blinked out, made contact, and that's what brought our third caution of the night. We're already racking up. It was zero cautions 20 laps ago. Now we're up to 3.
Yeah, 0 until lap 113, and then 3 since then. But that's how these races can go sometimes. And again, for John Furness, he's just leading the laps right now because of the cautions, and all because of the way that he left pit lane, beating Scioli to the line by inches. And Scioli is probably frustrated, and he actually lost a spot there on that 1-lap run to Travis Beckner. So maybe that's a pro for James Scioli to restart behind the 28. And Hunter, quite frankly, I'd rather be behind the leader than beside him on a restart.
Oh, absolutely, especially here at a track where the inside lane or whatever lane the leader goes in can go. We saw on that outside line there was a stack up with the first 5 cars on the outside lane. I don't know if we're going to see that again, but that was with Scioli on the front. And imagine what's going to happen now with, it looks like Beckner and Hearn are going to be the first 2 on that outside line, so that's going to be something to watch out for.
So we're going to restart with 30 laps to go. This is 2 to green this time through. So 30 laps to the end is going to take us about 12 minutes. That's not a lot of time. Even if we go green, Connor, there's not a lot of time to race. If we get a caution or 2 more, there's also not a lot of time to race. What am I saying? It's going to be a hectic restart. Everyone's going to be grabbing everything that they can get, and it's not going to get any greener from here, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. This is a time when you're really just, you're going to have to go for it. You're going to have to throw it all, you throw the kitchen sink at it, you might as well at this point. 30-lap run to the end at most at this point. It's just going to get more and more aggressive. The intensity is going to go higher and higher until we finally, like at Rockingham, we saw all these smaller incidents, and all of a sudden, one little bit of contact happens at the front, it's over for a number of drivers. So we'll have to see how this goes, see if these 30 laps, hopefully we don't see the flip counter go up like it did at Rockingham late in the running. Is one thing I wanted to try to talk about a little bit. Talk about where you want to restart, be on the bumper of the leader or be alongside. I'd personally want to be alongside the leader, and I'm wondering if Beckner feels that way too. It looked like there were games being played on that last restart. Beckner almost looked like he throttled up before Furness was even thinking about going. It looked like it threw off Scioli a little bit, and Scioli really spun the tires and just didn't get going, which let Beckner get the second. Usually in my position, I'm trying to look to my left and just time it. If I jump it, oh well, but trying to see that leader alongside me helps me a lot more when trying to time the restart and try to fight for the race lead. We'll have to see what happens here, though.
I think Beckner knew that they were getting towards the end of the restart zone, and at that point, it's fair game, so he tried to time it. And that it did catch the 7 of Scioli off guard, which is why you saw the stack up on the outside. But now Beckner, he's going to have to try and time that from the outside line. And Scioli might have a big enough restart here to maybe send it 3 wide underneath the 20 to Furness and the 27 to Beckner, possibly going into the first turn.
Now we're going to have 29 laps left. Caution ran a lap long there, so we are going to have 29 laps to go. John Furness is on the inside, and a quick look at your manufacturer lineup here. Got a Ford leading the way, 3 bow ties rounding out the rest of the front 2 rows. Then it's 2 Toyotas, Elwood and Therian, and then 3 more bow ties and a Toyota wrapping up the rest of the top 10. Pretty even split across the top 15 as well. 4 Toyotas, 3 Fords, and the remainder Chevys. And just like we mentioned before, we've got a whole bunch of drivers still racing. Ricky Harden is out and done, so is Logan Hartman. So of the 38 starters, there are 35 running, 26 on the lead lap.
It's all going to come down to this. That number could plummet big time as far as DNFs. We'll have to see what happens. Furness, a big restart here with a new player on the outside. Beckner pinching him. They're going to go green here. Furness, great jump once again.
Good launch for the 28. Free and clear. The 38 drops to the inside. The 5 of Garrett Grant throws the block on the 29 into turn 1. Everybody scatters through the first 2 corners, Connor, but it's getting wild back here again.
3 wide, 2 or 3 rows deep. That's going to be hard to sort out for everyone back there, but they somehow make it work off of turn 2. Turn 3 is a different story. Those are getting closer and closer. And Robertson up the middle. scorching, trying to get through the field. Garrett Grant has to just tuck in behind as they're bouncing off. There it is. Bryce Senesac into the apron with Garrett Grant. Big
watch out. That's going to come back up.
Oh, it's off track. They might stay green. Senesac's off the track. Meanwhile, they're almost 3 wide for second.
Oh, man, we stay green for now into turn 3. Skyoli on the bottom of the 27. Are they going to crash? No, they don't. It's tight squeeze there through 3 and 4.
Oh, look out.
Look at Hearn get the run off the corner, trying to get around Beckner and Skyoli. Skyoli falls back to 5th. Therian now on the bumper, knocking on the door, looking to take the second spot away.
Senesac rolling on the bottom of the apron there, and that was really dicey and tight. The 18 has a big kick-out slide out of turn 2. The 27 and 67 fighting for second. Furness has it all in the mirror out of turn number 4.
Exactly what he wants to see, but I think we're going to get a winner in this battle. Here comes Cameron Hearn, saying earlier he doesn't fancy his chances, but look at him rising to the front. He's up a bunch of positions as well, 11th of a second position, along with Beckner, who's coming up through the field as well. Beckner struggling on the bottom, though. He's going to lose another spot to Shane Therian. Puts him back into the 4th position, and now the 67's almost on the rear bumper, almost to the right rear of John Furness.
Oh, he is to the right rear, but Furness shuts the door on him. He said he likes what he's seen out of his mirror. I don't think he's liking what he's seeing right now. That 67 is all over the bumper. Might get a little tap, trying to get around the inside here, coming through turn 2 and down the backstretch. Hearn going to have a shot at the inside. Looking to take the lead away. Here he comes.
Hearn just threw it down into turn 3. They made a little contact once, twice, thrice. Door to door out of turn 4. Banging doors for the lead here, Connor, as we approach 25 to go.
This cannot end well. They've been hitting 3 or 4 times in the last lap. The 67 desperately wants clear high. He's going to try to force his hand here, but he's not quite there. Here comes the 38. He's going to look 3 wide to the bottom. 3 wide for the race lead. Hearn's going to pull the slider. He's going to clear Furness for now. Furness to the middle. Tight 3 wide. That's not going to work, but somehow it has, and Cameron Hearn to the race lead.
Oh my goodness, I can't believe what I'm seeing. This is great racing for the lead, and now Beckner and Skyoli just licking their chops. Looking at this, Beckner's trying to go on the outside. Beckner's got a run. He's going to give that to the momentum push of the 28 of Furness. And Therian now down on the bottom, trying to get back on the outside. As Skyoli did the same with the 99 of Ryan on his bumper. It is tight for the second position.
And the Furness is starting to cool down here. Beckner to the bottom for second place. This is fantastic stuff inside the top 5. We made it through the restart, and the race is on. Approaching 20 laps to go now, side by side for second and for 4th.
But a rough 2 weeks for Furness. He's been race-winning speed the last 2 weeks, but he's been used up. He got the bumper from Skyoli last week, and this week Cameron Hearn just wouldn't lay off his left side door here, and now his 67 started to put some distance on this battle for second, as Beckner still trying to make the bottom work, but 28's still strong enough on the outside to make it work, and Skyoli's trying to follow him through.
Skyoli is going to give that push on the outside, and Beckner's got nowhere to go. He can't up and clear. So he's going to have to keep it on the bottom for as long as he can. A little further back, David Weishart trying to catch up with this group. Got the lucky dog, hasn't really made his way through with the multiple yellows that we've had, but he is up to 13th. And now Beckner's still trying to hold on to the 3rd spot. Skyoli on the outside with a 38 of Therian, giving him a little push through turn 2.
20 laps to go. Caution is out, and crashing turn
Ryan.
1. It's Jeff Ryan, yes. 37.
That was very far at the back. That was the battle. It wasn't even a battle. Ryan was 30th place, and it looks like he had contact. That might have been Jeremy Rigney.
Yeah, the 41.
Whoa.
Tags him into turn 1 and bounces off the 35 of Lemke and back across the road.
That was the boot scoop boogie if I've ever seen one. And Lemke got the worst of it there. He's got his engine blown. It's going to be night over for him. See, out of turn 4, here comes the 41. Just ran over him.
Yeah. It seemed like 37 lifted maybe a touch early, but that doesn't mean that Rigney doesn't have the vast majority of responsibility there, Connor.
Was that contact in the turn 3? Couldn't tell. It almost looked like they had contact the lap before, or the turn before. Even.
I wonder if that has anything to do with this. If we go back a lap, if there's any preceding drama that we might have missed here. Seemed like it. Oh, there was.
Oh.
Into turn 3.
Hit him twice. Usually it's 3 strikes and you're out, but this time he wasn't even trying to get the 3rd strike.
Well,
meanwhile, we did have strategy going on. John Furness hit pit lane.
Oh, boy.
Cameron Hearn did not.
And
Uh-oh.
the 27 also came.
A lot more people came than
Oh, man.
did.
Only 6 drivers did not come to pit lane.
Scioli's out first with a lot of time to spare. Theory in second, Elwood third, Fambro, Furness,
Ugh.
Bourne, Beckner, Ackley, Tommy Ryan.
Now, Furness took
2
4
tires.
The other 4, as Hunter just mentioned, took 2. So Furness is the highest running driver that took 4 tires. Beckner also took 4. I know. Well, I mean,
Oh,
This
this
is
is what
a
we love to see.
mind-boggler.
Oh, this is what
This-
we love to see, though.
I don't know, guys.
This turns your brain into scrambled eggs, Kyle. I can sense it.
Well, here's the thing. As I mentioned earlier, when you get down this late, the cautions are going to come. So, yeah, it's going to be hectic. I'd like to have 4 fresh tires with this many laps to go if it goes green, but we could just as easily get cautions out of turn 2 more times, and then this race is over.
The problem is I don't think the pace dropped off enough to warrant pitting, but so many people did pit that it might not matter if the pace hasn't dropped enough. Cameron Hearn was still running 24.6s, 24.7s. New tires would maybe drop at half a second, but that's if you're in clean air. These guys on 2 tires and 4 tires, they're going to have to drive through these guys and find a way to pass.
Okay,
I don't
hold
know.
on. Quick side note on a not serious topic. No, YouTube's had a chat problem lately with like
Oh, boy.
spam bots.
I know where this is going.
Yeah, well, the most recent user to spam the SimTV YouTube channel, explicittitle.com with a fire emoji. Only Putin didn't find girl with us.
Only.
I don't really have an answer for that. But
Oh gosh, that is the most creative bot title I have seen in a long time.
don't know what exactly it means either, but
I
still
think-
creative.
I think it just means that if you are not Putin, you're going to find a girl with explicitwebsite.com.
How's this becoming
Yes!
political?
There's someone out there who is screaming, yes!
They're like, yeah, I believe in that. Whoa.
Now is my time!
Anyway,
Back to racing. Oh, yeah,
Back to
racing. That's what
racing.
we're doing. Yeah.
yep. All right, we're going to be under 15 laps to go for the restart, and Cameron Hearn has got the lead. He'll have lane choice as well as the ability to go whenever he wants on the restart. David Weishart, third. Here's what's interesting. Drivers up front. Have a look at the laps on their tires. 30 laps ago, Weishart, same. So, again, had they not had those first couple of cautions to pit on, I would have liked David's position on fresher tires, but he doesn't have fresher tires now.
I would think if we get yellows and yellows, it's going to be tough. We're only going to have this restart's going to be, let's see, 14 laps to go. Just trying to
Yeah, cautions take
recuperate.
6 or 7 laps here.
Yeah, you
So-
get a quick yellow, it makes it even tougher. And you got 6 cars on no tires, and we got new players at the front too. Andrew Zanto, Christopher Tate. They've been not to be rude, but they haven't been really near the front all day. So that's another thing to think about if you're Skyler and Therian. Speaking of them, they're on 2 tires. I think Elwood and Fambro are as well. And then Furness on back should be on 4 tires. This is going to get wild, Kyle.
It certainly will. 14 laps to go. Who knows what's going to happen? That's why you race. Got to figure it out. 14 laps remaining here at Iowa Speedway in round 4 of the 2022 Area Lodgebox Series. Green flag back in the air. A good start for Scioli. Takes the field 3 wide down to turn 1. Other driver follows him down there. That's the number 30 of Christopher Tate, but Hearn is free and clear in turns 1 and 2. We're 4 abreast in turns 1 and 2.
That's going to be hard to sort out off of turn 2, but somehow they did it.
Oh,
No lane
that's
change.
Chambliss.
Yep, Chambliss in the wall. There's no lane change rule. They're skirting off of one another. Darian got booted out of the way by Christopher Tate, and that takes him 2-3 positions back, and Scioli's already side by side for the second position, but Furness is not too far behind on 4 fresh tires as Elwood fights for third place, excuse me. Scioli's racing for the lead on Cameron Hearn.
Oh, Ethereum guy on the wall there. Here comes Elwood trying to make a move for the lead as well as the 7 of Sky.
Caution,
Come on.
big wreck.
Continue.
3 and 4.
big
Big
one.
mess.
Oh, they're piling in.
Wow.
And Scioli was the leader at the time of caution.
Oh boy. Furness up to 5th and all that. Let's have a look at the Simrat Market replay here. In try to digest what happened here. I'm sure it's going to be a little tricky to see it all from even the sky view here, but okay, the 44.
It was further up the road.
Yeah, the
64 and 44.
It's Moffitt and Robertson.
3 wide. Greg Mitchell on the high line. And the
right
44 did not go to the bottom there. He didn't even really turn in there. Then it's hard to miss a wreck that's right in front of you entering a corner as you're getting on the brakes, not expecting a wreck to be there. That's a tough position for it to happen. And unfortunately, I think that is on the 44. He just never turned for the corner, just fired it in there to the left rear of the 64.
Yeah, what goes up must come down, and it came down, and oh look, the Phillies car made it through the wreck.
Can never escape it.
Well, that brings out, is that, what caution are we on? Is it number 5?
We were on 0 for 100 laps.
113 to be exact.
Oh, thank you.
Had 5 since in the next 37. So,
well, this is interesting. Now, I was just going to bring up the point. Scioli and Elwood, they have fresher tires, Furness as well. If you're Hearn and Weishart, do you contemplate coming down pit road?
No.
Too late. You've made your bed. You got to lay in it now. This is it.
Yeah.
Furness, though, I don't hate his position. I don't know how much 4 tires is going to matter. I'd much rather be on 2 tires with control of the restart, Connor. But I suppose if this is our last yellow, I could foresee Furness having a good shot, or get a yellow here, or get another yellow, and then one final one to go into overtime. And if Furness can jump a spot or 2 in this next one, he'll be in a good position. But I like having control of the restarts, especially when you have a tire advantage over the 2 or 3 guys behind you. Hearn's in trouble, but Scioli, I think, might have made the right call, but I think Connor's still too early to tell.
Yeah, 2 points to make here. Yeah, Scioli, he did a great job getting through there, but he didn't really get through there because of track position, having less tires. He did that because he took advantage of not having a lane change rule, as far as you can change lanes before the start-finish line. Just make sure you don't pass illegally before there. I'm sure points will be made about that, but he took advantage of it. He got 3 spots really in the first corner, so that's really why he's leading. And about Cameron Hearn's situation and David Weishart about not pitting, I think they know the bed they put themselves in. A caution with 18 laps to go at almost any track, you know that's likely going to be your final attempt. What is the word I'm looking for? Final chance at pitting for the race, especially after you just went on a hard 10-15 lap run racing for the lead 3 and 4 wide. So I think these guys knew that was their last chance of pitting, and they thought this would be the way to go, and it's already not going to work out for them. They're going to need Cameron Hearn, David Weishart, and the others on old tires. Brian Chambliss is still up there. He also took no tires. It's going to take a miracle for them to be able to hold on to a top 3, top 5 position.
Well, on this upcoming restart, it seems like the 7's going to choose the outside line, which that would pair him up with his teammate and owner, David Weishart, over there in the third. Stall the bottom, especially with the older tires the 67 of Hearn has, if they do elect to do that. But it seems like from what I'm seeing, the 7's going to restart on the outside, and that's going to leave the bottom drivers of Elwood with newer tires at a disadvantage.
Yeah, I mean, certainly it seems like that. We haven't quite gotten to the 1 to green, so he could change his mind. But it does appear that if he does that, it's going to put Hearn on the bottom, essentially jam that cork in the bottle on the bottom lane, and it will trap John Furness critically in behind Elwood and Hearn, and it will give the advantage to his teammate up top. So that's a no-brainer for me. Choose the outside. Connor, we haven't seen anyone take the outside lane in any of these restarts yet, though, so that's a first.
Really, because there's no advantage to it. When you have the restart zones the way they are, the leader gets such a big jump and really doesn't give a chance for second place to stay alongside. It's not like you're at a disadvantage for picking the bottom if you want the top lane, because you're just going to get whatever lane you want in the turn 1 anyways. But I think what Hunter was saying, this is really a strategy play. This is really what you were saying. This is a strategy play to box in the guys, not just with 4 tires like John Furness, but also Alan Elwood on 2 tires. It's going to box both of those guys in. So you got 2 more guys on the top lane with no tires, and then you get back to 8th position. Xanto's on no tires, Tate's on no tires, and everyone with tires is on the bottom lane, it feels like. So this is very smart by Scioli.
All right, it's going to be a 7-lap sprint to the end. If we go about 2 laps, it will be an overtime. If we go green until the white flag, then we will race to the end under green flag conditions. Hearn on the bottom, but it's Scioli leading the way. Green flag and a good jump by the 33 and 7 on that upper groove. The 49 jumps up there as well, and behind him they all fan out into turn number 1 as everybody tries to make it work. That ain't gonna do it.
Correct. There's the wreck. Line gets into. More hits.
We're still crashing back there.
Jacob Hudson pile drove Shane Therian, who also got just completely turned there. That was a huge hit.
I think I saw the rear windshield pop up in the air. Yeah, look, right here.
Oh,
It was up there on that wall, but see here on the Sim Market replay, they tried going 4 wide in the middle of the corner. The 99 of Ryan gets into that corner of the outside lane, and they kind of just, that was Tate in the 30. And just gets into the 38. Nowhere to go for Hudson in the 96, but that was a chain reaction right there. We'll see it in the super slow-mo.
Cameron Hearn saying he got a black flag for passing the leader here.
Oh, we'll go back and look at the restart. Well, but watch the 38 come back down across the racetrack into the path of the 96. It's clobbered in the door. Let's go back a little bit further and have a look at the restart. He passed the lead. Wow.
There's times, the way iRacing does these restart zones now.
Right here maybe? Yeah.
Is when if you accelerate a little bit before the leader does, that will automatically try to paint it like right there. He tried to accelerate by timing it. So basically when Scioli hit the gas, the 67 was already ahead of it. The way iRacing determines it, they determine it as you restarted the race before the leader. So you must have passed the leader, and you get a penalty. That's the way iRacing
right here,
programs it.
He is in front of the number 7 right here, and by when the 7 launches, that designates when the restart is happening. So if the 7 launches and you're in front of him, you have effectively jumped the restart. So yeah, I guess I could see how that happened. Wasn't intentionally trying to do that, but right here he's ahead. He knew it. He tried to check up, but it was too late. The 7 was behind him and launched, and that gave him the penalty. I think it's a valid penalty.
Yeah, he took it to pit lane, so he passed the pace car and took it to pit lane, so I think he's just going to end his race here, which is unfortunate. I'm sure he's arguing, even Jacob Hudson is trying to say that he gave his spot back, but that's the way iRacing determines it. You can't give it back. Once you've done it, it's over.
And unless there's a special modification of the rulebook to say if you give the spot back, then we'll clear the penalty. As far as I understand, it's ruled by iRacing rules, and those are the rules that everybody understands, and it's frustrating because you don't have a good sight line out of the side of your car. But that's just the reality of it, Hunter, is sometimes you get burned on things like that.
Yeah, that could be a... Sometimes it bites you in the end, and for it to happen this late, I mean, that is essentially a race ender right there. And this is probably going to put us in a green-white checker scenario, like an official attempt at a green-white checker, which makes this all the more painful for Cameron Hearn.
Yeah, I think that's the reality. Is we are going to hit if we don't get the 1 to green this time, which we will not. It is going to put us into overtime and into that extended distance. The race was planned to be 160 laps. And yeah, so next time by, we're going to get the 1 to green. That will force 1 extra lap.
And this is going to be a little bit of a different decision for Scioli. Looks like he's going to pick the bottom this time. That's going to put Alan Elwood behind him on the inside on 2 tires. That'll pin Furness on 4 tires to the outside. Then Beckner, who I believe is also on 4 tires, is going to be on the inside. So how hard is the pass here? Scioli just gets a good launch on this restart. He's probably going to be smooth sailing from there.
Yeah, this will be an interesting one because this is going to set up... He could choose the top again and have the 33 of Weishart with the older tires on the bottom, and that could essentially slow down Elwood as well. But either way, you're going to have either Elwood or Furness on your bumper on this next restart, and then 20, count him out just yet.
Well, Furness has 4. If I'm John Furness, I'm planning on using all 4 of those tires. I'm going to rim ride 3 and 4, come into the white, and try to take that all the way to the start finish. Go ahead, Connor.
Just a switcheroo. I thought Scioli was going to pick the bottom, but all of a sudden, like he was coming up to the Chusco, and he takes the top. So he's going to pin the guy in on 2 tires and let the guy on 4 tires have a shot at his bumper. That's honestly a little bit surprising to me, but like I was saying, if he just gets a good launch, he has a really good shot at this.
Yeah, I think Furness, he can nail this. I like having 2 more fresher tires. I don't know how much the lefts matter but they matter a little bit. That's just physics. We'll see if it will pan out for John Furness, who led so much of this race. Scioli is in a very strong position right now. Coming to 2 laps to go, we are in overtime. If the caution comes out, the race is over. If we get to the white, we're racing this thing out to the end under green. James Scioli in the number 7 trying to get his 2nd win on the season. Green flag back in the air. We're racing to finish it out here in Iowa.
And Furness didn't really go. Elwood couldn't go anywhere either. Weishart on the bottom. They're 3-4 wide. They might not make it back to the white flag the way they're looking. 7th on back.
I'll say I don't think they're going to make it as well.
There it is. 16 in the inside.
Oh, there they go.
Record at the back.
Well,
no yellow yet.
We stay green. Can they get back? Here comes the 28. If we get to the white flag, this could be it. White flag this time by John Furness. Crash behind him.
Oh,
we got
yellow.
the yellow.
Oh, my goodness. They're upside down on the front stretch here. We almost
2
made
cars.
it. Boy, oh boy.
They're still wrecking.
Wow.
99 of Ryan tumbling down the front stretch here, but the yellow did come out just before they got to the finish line, which is going to end the race under caution, and that means the 7 of James Scioli is going to be your winner tonight at Iowa in a close one.
Wow. I want to go back and look at when the caution flew.
That looked like, I was about to say the same thing, because it looked like they were past the line, but iRacing decides otherwise. Here comes a pace car flying through cars. Simulation, by the way.
Let's let James Scioli pick up the checkered, and let's go back and break the yellow down. But James Scioli will win his 2nd race on the season. John Furness comes home in 2nd, and that's extra painful for him. He was so close with a 1 big send. I think he could have had a shot at it, but he will not. 2nd place for the 28, then the 49, 33, and 27, the rest of your top 5. All right, let's go back and break down the yellow flag here. And it's going to take us a second, but wow, they were really tumbling back there, weren't they? Who was upside down? I can grab this easier.
It was the 99 of Ryan. There he is
Tommy
right
Ryan.
there.
Tommy Ryan. I see him on screen. I got to find him in the running order. He's 27th now. So
He
let's
just finished,
so
by
let's
the way.
break this down and to when the caution came out. Maybe we can see if we have a shot at turn 4, if there's a caution light in view, and yes, there is. White flag is waving, and at the time of caution, they're across the line, guys.
iRacing, I've seen this happen, though. iRacing has weird scoring loops where you can cross the line, but if they're spinning, it will still throw the yellow. It's odd. I don't like it, but it's happened. Here's the replay of the crash. It's Christopher Tate on old tires again. Slid up into Tommy Ryan, and everyone's full throttle because it's the end of the race. Ryan got killed by a number of cars there, sliding on his lid. And he finally came down on all 4 tires and finished the race under yellow as he tumbled a few more times. That was Christopher Tate again. Like we were saying, it wasn't near the front most of the race on old tires. That's 2 crashes at the end of a race, unfortunately, for him that he caused.
Got a feel for Furness, though. I mean, if that was NASCAR rules, we would have gone green. I mean, obviously, they would have thrown the yellow for a crash that severe, but I guess that's tough. The light didn't come on until after Scioli had gone across the line, so Furness didn't get a shot at it. We just missed his burnouts here, but let's have a look at race results here from Iowa Speedway. James Scioli, Furness, Elwood, Weishart, Beckner, your top 5. Great fight, though. I mean, all the way through the race, they fought tooth and nail, and that time Furness beat Scioli out of pit lane didn't quite matter so much. It came down to tire strategy at the end, Connor, and then those late race restarts.
We still had some of the front runners finish at the front, like Scioli, Furness, Elwood, but some strategy played out for a lot of the guys. David Weishart was on the back foot with his 2-stop strategy, but was able to stay in it with a 4th place finish. Beckner through the field to 5th, Fambro 6th, Chambliss held on for 7th, and Christopher Tate, he had a rocky end of the race, but he still came away with an 8th place finish. Rob Ackley struggled on the long run. He got 9th place, and Andrew Zanto, another no-tire stopper, kept it clean at the end. He got a top 10 out of it, so good job on strategy for the few of those guys.
And then you see the rest of the guys here that just missed the top 10. Michael Live, Greg Mitchell, Justin Munsell, better finish this week than last week. Chris Rabel, 14th and 16th was Tom Bourne, who actually sent the 99. Tommy Ryan upside down, wild ride for him. And there you see the rest of the guys behind him, Grant Smith, Moffitt, and Robertson.
Now the rest of the order here, Russell LePage, Shane Ferry in 24th after that incident. Tommy Ryan, 27th up on his roof. Finished out the race, P27, Paul Irvin, Jeff Ryan, and others. And then down the rest of the list here, the drivers that were listed out at the end of the race, some tough nights for them. We do have our 3rd place finisher, Alan Elwood, here with us now in the booth. 3rd place for the number 49. Green flag for 113 laps, Alan, and then after that, chaos from there. Take us through the rest of your race.
Yeah, chaos is a good word. The green flag stuff was a lot of fun. Had a lot of good battles. Fambro, Shane, Colin. I mean, you name it that was up there in that whole lead group. We had them all. I was having so much fun, and I normally don't like Iowa. So, you know, once the first caution came out, I kind of figured that at that point the green flag racing was over. So you got to try to play strategy, and I thought we had the strategy worked out. Got a really good restart. And then, of course, cautions just prevent you from ever trying to take advantage of it because, you know, you get the DWR guys up there and they position themselves to try to make sure that you can't quite, you know, make the restart into your favor, which is understandable. They got to do what they got to do. And so it just kind of puts you behind eight ball when you're up there against team guys. So we tried. I'm happy with third. Better than what I expected.
Fun one to watch, Alan. Congratulations, and enjoy the week off next week, but we'll see you in 2.
Appreciate it, guys.
Moving on now to second place, John Furness in the number 28, fought tooth and nail all night long, started 5th, finished 2nd, and led a whole bunch of laps, 63 of the 161 that we ran. John, it was going so well that it all unraveled there in the last 30 or 40 laps. Take us through your race, the battle you had with the 7, and then the late race cautions that took it all away.
Yeah, we had a good run, another good run, another podium finish. Not able to close the deal. I think if it went green, I would have had a pretty good shot with the 4 tires. Felt pretty good about that, but just didn't work out. Just so many cautions. And yeah, it just didn't work out in our favor, but we had a great run. I love the long green flag runs and got to manage your tires a little bit. And it's really hard to pass here, so you know, finally got the lead, and we're just kind of cruising. And then I battled with the 7 for a while, and you know, like I said, it's just hard to pass. So I was playing the blocking game and trying not to burn my stuff up at the same time. And I think he and I were going to have a really good run to the finish there. But cautions breed cautions, I guess.
They certainly do, John. It was a hard-fought race. Here's the good news, though. You're racking up points after the crash at Daytona. You're looking really, really good there. So I know it's a long play, and I know the wins will come, but so far so good.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like we've actually had a chance to win all 4 races now. We've been up front, running good. So hope to continue that. Whatever the next race is, I don't know. I think we're off next week, maybe. But
yes.
Yeah, hope to continue that and keep running well for Physicus Motorsports and all our sponsors, NAI, DeLeo Bram, Magyar Bank, Eat Sleep Race, and of course, you know, we like to put on a good show for you guys and appreciate everything you do, and the league admins as well. So I want to say a big thank you to you guys for all that. And yeah, kind of bummed out about this one, but we'll get them next time.
All right, John. Second place. Congratulations. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Thanks a lot.
James Scioli brings it home in wild fashion as cars were tumbling upside down, turned around backwards and sideways. James, you got it. You brought it home tonight. Hard-fought race there with John. You led a bunch of laps. He beat you off pit lane once, but then it was a strategy call to put you out front for the rest of the race. Take us through your last 50 or 60 laps and the calls on pit lane.
Yeah, me and him are making a pretty good habit here of having some good races. It's been a blast the last couple of weeks racing with him. Big shout out to him. He races super clean. He's fast, and it's just been really fun to race against him. And I saw on that second to last run, like the longer run before I took the 2 tires, I saw that the left sides really didn't wear out that much. And so I knew that 2 tires was probably going to be a good call, and it was. My left sides were still 99s all around when I pitted, and then I was kind of bummed that I restarted on the inside, but it actually turned out to be really good. I was able to get a way better launch than Santo, I believe it was, on the fresh tires, and be 3 wide with him on the inside going into turn 1, and I was able to essentially be third and clear all the way through turn 2, and then just set my sights forward. So definitely a crazy way to win one. It was fun to have the big long run at the front of the race. It was tough to pass, so kind of glad that the cautions came out and made things interesting.
Oh, it was certainly interesting. That's one way to put it. 113 green flag laps and then a barrage of cautions at the end. James, congratulations. Strong run. Earned this one for sure. And enjoy the week off. We'll see you in 2.
Yeah, thanks, guys. And big thanks to all you guys in the booth, all the admins for letting us do this every week. And big thanks to South Beach Eat Rick's Hot Sauce. Use code Scioli. You'll get $7 off any order there. And then thanks to Chris Sports Cards, Dandles Candles, and Butt Kicker as well for all being on the car. And we'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
All right, James. We'll see you.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Connor, wrapping things up tonight briefly. Your final thoughts on this race. There was some good stuff in this. I know a frustrating way to end it after how good the first half was, but 113 green flag laps with the racing we saw, that was phenomenal.
Another is again similar to Rockingham. The only difference between Rockingham and this is that we had some early yellows at Rockingham, but didn't have that tonight. As you said, 113 green flag laps. Great racing from the race for the lead to the race for 30th. Absolutely amazing. And once again, when the yellows fly, cautions breed cautions. We've seen it before. We'll see it again in the future, I'm sure. Strategy came into play, which always great to see that. Furness thought might have had it after the race off of pit road. Then we thought maybe the 67 Cameron Hearn had it, got the lead on the ensuing few restarts, and then Scioli on 2 tires was able to restart on the inside lane on the first restart after final pit stops. He was able to pretty much get about, I think it was about 7th to 3rd in really a matter of 2 corners, and that was really the winning move in my opinion. That restart there is what propelled the 7 to the lead after a few restarts. That's what got him the victory lane tonight.
All right, well, that is going to do it for us tonight. We have a week off next week. We'll join you in 2 weeks' time for the round number 5 of the Area Lodgebox Series. Kyle Heyer, Hunter Sleppy, and Connor Horn joining you tonight. We'll see you in 2 weeks for the next Area Series race. It'll be Monday after next week. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.